So I like this view. Dang it, and I forgot I was gonna upgrade the the StreamYards for tonight. What's happening, fishing friends? What's going on? Already got a bunch of people in here. My lordy, having some technical difficulties. I couldn't get my stupid Bluetooth things to connect. Got it. Randall was froze. Now we got him not froze.
Unfrozen.
Yeah. Just let it go, Randall. Let it go.
Let it go.
All right. So
go.
tonight, what are we doing tonight? Tonight, what did I end up naming it? I asked a few people to give me some suggestions. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to do? Had some cool stuff, some stuff that I was like, that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Let's see here though. What do we end up? I forget which one we ended up landed on. The wording specifically, I know what the topic's going to be. We worded it: stop sucking at bass fishing. Fishing mentality. So, I mean, I'm not. If you're here looking for answers on how not to suck and like catch fish every time, this is not going to be the stream. Whoops. I was hoping we would maybe get a pro to join us. I put the feelers out. All the pros said, "No, you're an idiot. We don't want to join you." So you got two very average anglers right here to hang out with. Dang, look at that, Nick Rodriguez. We're only a couple minutes in, already hitting us with the 5-bomb. Nick, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss a question.
I was looking. I didn't
Nick,
see.
I think from Dallas, Fort Worth.
Dallas Fort.
Well, Nick, thank you for the $5 bomb, brother.
Heck yeah.
Oops, fishing apps. I don't know. He might have accidentally donated. Maybe he didn't mean to. Well, regardless, I'm going to give back to you all tonight. I was in the garage for probably, I don't know, 3 hours, probably close to 3 hours, organizing, messing with colors. So tonight's going to be a Debo inspired box, bag, whatever you want to call it. So when I was up at Do It, I had I guess maybe we'll start with some updates. I think I talked last time I got to go film with Monster Bass, so I went through all that one. That was a really cool deal. And then shortly after that, which would have been this Monday and Tuesday, I got to go to the Do It headquarters and film some videos with them. So that was really fun. Some of it was around soft plastic making, and one of them was cutting your plastics. So you can see this is a tail, different color, cutting your plastics and then shooting the rest of the body a different color. It was something really simple, really easy to do. I had never ever done it before. So they kind of showed me there. I come home, practiced a bunch. And there you can see. So this one I tried to cut some pieces of chartreuse and lay in there too. It looks stupid, but I've got some clean ones of these I'll give you. So some June buggish chartreuse tail. I did some of those. I did kind of some baby bass colors. Tried to do like a swirl to it, messing with different temperatures in the plastic. I am still not a pro at the plastic making stuff, but trying different things, trying different deals with the laminates, just trying to get different fun looks. You can't get better if you don't try stuff and mess up, right? These actually came out pretty cool. This was like a green pumpkinish copper. I don't know why it won't focus. Green pumpkinish copper body, and then did like a pearly tail. So if you had dip and dye, you could dip it whatever color you wanted. I did some Ned rigs. Specifically, Paul asked me to do some June bug chartreuse, and then this is like a grape June bug. And it's like you can't really see it here, but once you get up to the light, it's like a neonish blue. And then I did pink tails. That's actually pink on it. That's a little bit better. Some of those, I did some stick baits with some like green pumpkinish, and then chartreuse tails. Those are not dipped. That's a separate color. If you're to dip a color that dark, it gets like a darkish green. That's a chartreuse with other stuff in it. I did some finesse worms. These are pink with a chartreuse tail. Then some June bug pink swim baits. So just messing with different stuff, messing with different techniques. I'll have to do a video on this. Pretty cool. Easy way to do it, and you get real clean colors. You know, people could say, well, why don't you just dip it in, like dyes or whatever. But you get a way different look, way cooler colors. So tonight, I want to leave a lot of this up to you. We're going to go over a few things that I had written down. Fishing mentality, how to stop sucking. Again, I'm not going to be able to give you the pro pointers on everything, but some things that Randizzle and I have learned along the way. So let's see, what do we got in here? We got some real maintenance questions. I'm going to go up, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see, Matthew. you ever get to use your Yamamoto tailless grub for like the original scat? I have not. I've got a couple other things I've been working on. I need to really get them tuned in before I kind of release and stuff, because I tell you what, there's going to be companies banging down my door trying to steal my ideas. They're so cool. I'm kidding, but I want to make sure it actually works. Hey, Tackle Talk podcast in here. What's up, brother? Mr. Hayes. Dude, you kept me freaking sane driving to Minneapolis listening to your podcast. So thank you, dude. The Randall, have you ever listened to him? Tackle Talk podcast?
I have not. I actually am like more of a bigger podcast type of guy versus, I mean, I have a ton of music and things like that. And usually when I'm fishing like solo, I'll have an earbud in and just listen to music the entire time. But on drives, for whatever reason, I get that ADD itch and I want to like, oh, I want to hear this song. Wait, I want to hear that song. And I listen to 38 seconds of each song I want to listen to. So I usually find that podcasts are a little bit better to occupy my time at least, and I'll need to definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'm not a podcast guy, to be honest. But I was listening to some Burley stuff and then flipped over to Tackle Talk, and it was really good. He did a 4-part series. If y'all haven't listened to it, he's one of the biggest tackle and like fishing podcasts out there. Like I said, I don't listen to it, but a couple people got me turned on to him. The first I'd ever even heard of him was when he was on Gramps' show. And that's not for lack of him having good content. It's for lack of me not listening to any podcasts. But really cool guy, very well spoken, really good show. Check it out. He did a 4-part series that I thought was freaking awesome on tackle making. So he had 4 different tackle makers, the Beast Coast guys, Ott Defo talking about his cranks, the Ott's Garage crank, the power bait guy, I forget his name, I'm sorry, but he talked like all through like sense and power bait stuff. Super cool listen. And then who was the 4th one? It was Big O, Steve-O Big O Parks from Strike King. And if you listen, Burley had him on too before. So yeah, super cool podcast. Check it out. It was a good listen. Christopher, I want to go to have.
Yeah, I was gonna try to get a follow-up on that question.
Yeah, I don't know. If he's talking about black and blue, here's one. So when I was up at Do It, it was pretty cool when we were making colors and just talking stuff. I think I might have showed you all this. I think I did last time. But for anybody that didn't see the show, last time Randall and I were out, I was walking through a little stream deal. And I found a craw claw. Look at the colors on that. Talk about like black and blue / dark green pumpkin. If my webcam didn't suck so bad, I need to get the second view deal like Hellabass has going, but very dark green pumpkin / almost black. So if you're asking why do people throw black and blue, yeah, go ahead.
How did they end up smelling for you?
Oh, it was horrible. I couldn't figure out what the smell was. It was so bad, and that craw claw stunk something awful. Absolutely horrible.
It was terrible.
Hey, there's Shan the man. He said, "Be a Jedi." I don't know if he's talking about how not to suck. Be a Jedi, then you won't suck. Davis, this one I was going to come back to. What does everyone use for reel maintenance? Shimano grease. I use the Shimano drag grease on gears and everything. And it's the white one. It's not the actual like the tan drag grease. I'll show you in a second. I think it's by far the absolute best all-around grease you can use. Yeah, it's the Star drag grease, and there's like different ones you can get. There's one that's like it's almost like the Cowls, which is like a darker tan. But it comes in a little white deal like this. It'll last you forever. This is the second one I've owned for a long time. Looks really generic, but this is my second one I finally opened. So I've tested others. I know some people have thoughts on stuff, but I really like that one. And then oil, just find a good oil.
I honestly just have Debo do something to it for me. So I usually end up messing it up if I try to do it myself. He's like, "Why did you use half a bottle of oil on the spool?" I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Dude, it's common. I mean, I did it when I was first learning too. Like, if a little bit's good, more should be better, right? To make sure it doesn't dry out.
Right.
Definitely not the case with the real innards.
Yeah.
Hey, all you Phoenician sons of guns. Oh, and it just jumped forward. We must have a bunch of people talking and doing things and stuff in here.
Hey, real quick, while you're looking at those things, I remember a while back you opened up a box of this uh, braid here.
Contra braid. I've never used
The
that. Is that
Yeah,
Strike King?
it's the Strike King braid. But
Huh.
remember, you had it, and it had that little dealie on the bottom of it. It's a little
I've never
suction
had
cup.
that.
You had it once. It was in a box. I swear.
Really?
So
Oh,
yeah, you open it up, and it
must have been
spins.
a long time ago. Yeah, it's got the suction cup.
This is probably one of the cooler things I've ever got to use before ever. So I was out at a lake yesterday, and I went and bought like a stupid little two-piece rod to be able to just throw it in the trunk of the car. And I was like, peeled off a ton of almost all of the mono, and I was like, oh, let me throw some braid on there. And I suction cupped that thing to the side of my car and just reeled away. Probably one of the better things ever. I don't know why everybody doesn't do that.
Okay, I'm gonna rant on this for a little bit because I saw somebody shared some. Wow, that's a
Oh,
hook.
jeez.
How is there a hook in your reel?
Because it was put there.
Okay, I'm gonna rant for a second because somebody shared with me this silly thing of people like putting their line through like a cooking container thing, like a lid, like a
What?
pan lid, and
Okay.
like I don't know all this stuff. Okay, so here's my rant. I've shared this a long time ago, and I've shared it multiple times.
Are
Now
you
the
saying
only reason I
pan or
use a
Pam?
box, Pam,
I know this. Figured out the
Pam.
whole Pam dilemma.
So the only reason I use a box with a dowel through it is because I put all of my lines in there and like line them up. But most boxes, and it always kind of cracks me up that people are like, there should be an easier way to like line stuff. You need a special line spooler and all these things and deals and what have you. But if you take your line, they come with a, as long as I don't tie it in a knot here, they come with a hole in the side.
Oh, the
Hold on.
box themselves.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, I had it tied in the bottom there. You put your line through here, pull your line out of here. It's got a hole in the side, and it just runs off for you. So your spool doesn't go running around everywhere crazy. If I can line this through here, just to show you, you don't have to overcomplicate things, folks. I used to just put this in the front of my bag, like my tackle warehouse bag, and see that? See how that all comes out of the front there? Then you can just line it. You don't have to have anything special. That's why they put that in the box. So don't overcomplicate line spooling. And Randall, for everybody watching, can you see this? You see where this was Randy's lose review? No, it's not done. However, Mr. Randall, I did pick one up.
Why did you pick one up, dude? You could have kept using it. I was giving you a hard time, man.
Dude,
Jeez.
I was tired of every weekend hearing, hey, did you ever do that reel review? I wish I had my favorite reel back that you've had for 5 months. I felt
5 months for a year and a half?
Whatever. Anyway, Shan was on Tackle Talk 3 times. I'll have to go back and check that, Shan. Like I said, I am not a podcast guy, but he does a really good job. Ooh, Braden found the old monsters, huh? And the gooseberry. Big fan, big fan. Have you seen? Ooh, I have. I don't know. I don't think I can show a picture of it. Well, I do have my phone. Have you seen the new Berkeley chatterbait? They started dropping photos. Looks pretty cool. Yeah. Did you see? Go check out Gary Klein's. I tagged Gary Klein and was like, "Hey, maybe we should have him on a live." And he just didn't respond to me. So he's probably like, "Who's this nerd?" But I will show you. I took a picture of it. But I would say go check out Gary Klein's Instagram and check out the plastics. So
So are
here's
these
some
just
really
like
interesting.
teaser?
Yeah, they're like teaser shots, but I zoomed in
Okay.
and the zoom on this
Yeah,
sucks. But these are like segmented like the bellows gill, but they've got the tail like the razor shad, Z-Man razor shads.
Yep.
Kind of interesting new trailers they've got coming out. Those are the chatterbaits. And the chatterbait, if you haven't seen it, is the new Berkeley design that's got, I'm not sure how it's going to work. It's interesting. It's got like a big hole in the nose of it, and the blade almost looks like the Queen's tackle. See how it's got that like what would you call that, like clevis thing almost
Yeah.
looking deal that goes through there? So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, the blade looks pretty standard, like bent blade, but that head design is pretty neat. So I don't know if that's really going to like wobble inside there instead of clicking on the outside of the head. Do I have a chatterbait here? So the deal with the chatterbait is, especially like the jackhammer, what makes it so popular? Hold on. No, I've got one over here. Sorry if I gave you all a moonshot. Thought I had one over here. What makes the chatterbait so... Oh, I've got some back here. Somewhere. Okay, this is the mini. I cut this off, but the big thing that makes like the jackhammer so awesome is that as the chatterbait is going through the water, the head clicks, or the blade clicks on the side of the head like this. So you notice like if you run one of your chatterbaits a lot, you look on the side and it'll have the paint chipped off in two little spots. That's where the blade's going back and forth, knocking on it. So I think what they've done, instead of having the blade knock on the outside, from what I'm thinking, looking at that, that clevis deal is going to knock on the inside of that. It's so big that as that blade's going, it's going to knock on the inside of that. Click, 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 as it's going. Randall, what you doing there?
So
Organizing
you're
the
saying,
clamshells?
no, I'm just pulling out.
Oh, you got one. You got a stealth blade.
Yeah, a little stealth blade here. So you're saying when this is going, it's hitting
clicking
back and
just
forth
like
like
that.
this.
Yep.
So this one, you were thinking it's going to, you can't probably even show it, but it's going to go, I guess, deeper into the head then, and then potentially make a little bit louder of a click, or?
It's a completely different design. So instead of having like where it's locked onto the nose of it, sorry, that's my webcam light. That's really distracting. So instead of having it where it's like locked on the nose of it, it's got a big, huge circle there on the inside of it. There we go. Big old circle on the inside of it. So to me, it's going to click on the inside of that, is what I would say.
Sure.
Because it's so big, there's enough space that it's just going to click through the inside. So it's pretty cool. Kind of a neat design. I don't know. We'll see when it drops, but that's all I know about it so far. Yeah, absolutely, man. I like to give props where they're due. You have a really good show, dude. Love Tackle Talk. Got a lot of love for Tackle Talk. Must be a lot of listeners in here.
I did see Fat Boy left a yes. I was gonna actually ask you tonight, if you were in here, what type of plastic was it? Was it one of your own? I think it was possibly one of your own types of plastic, was it not? That maybe you had poured. I know I've done the basic, like just regular creature baits, and no, it just is going to depend. I don't know about any like the what is it, the Elasta whatever Z-Man stuff.
I don't know, man.
I don't know as if Mendit's going to play well with that stuff.
That's Mendited. People are saying Mendit wouldn't work on these, that it eats the plastic. I guess I don't know how long it, like the Mendit is a little bit different color, but it's rock solid and sticking to it. That's that Spro Frog where the weight dropped out of it.
I've never had any issues with any of the frogs that I've done, and I've done the same frog over and over, probably 2 or 3 times, just because it gets re-destroyed by a pike pretty soon.
Like a regular frog, like the outside of this one.
Yeah. Yep.
Gary, first time listener. Well, thanks, brother. We appreciate you jumping in and listening. Also, there's Eliza in the chat. Everybody, just like Eliza, all my members who continue to support me, watching every week, leaving good comments. I appreciate you all so dang much. When I started up the members thing, I didn't think I'd get more than, a couple. And I think we're up to like 70 members, which freaking blows me away. So all of y'all, thank you so much. I will be having another members only here coming up probably next week. For July, so be ready for one of those coming up. We might do like a fun 4th of July one or something. I don't know, depend on timing.
We'll set fireworks off in our hands and see what happens. Kidding.
Don't do that. So yeah, thank you very much, Nick, for the donation. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, there's Gramps in here. What's up, Gramps? Gramps, if you want to join too, I can shoot you an invite. I hit up Hank and Tackle Junkie. Everybody was busy, so.
Oh, so I have like the huge, I have it playing on the TV, and the TV's behind, obviously, my camera and stuff, and it's really behind, and I'm getting a good look at that chatterbait now. That's so there's like a post or a little piece of metal that goes through, and then the blade sits on top of it, right? The prototype one that you were just showing?
No, the blade, the metal will go through a big ring. So I think it'll
Yeah,
click like
yeah.
this because it's connected to the blade. So I think it's going to do that instead of the blade knocking on the
Going back
outside
and
of the
forth. So
head.
it's going to have a
Yeah.
lot more probably sporadic movements potentially,
I
or
have no clue. I have absolutely
man,
no idea.
do you know when it's supposed to
No
come
clue.
out at all, or no?
I do not. I would assume pretty soon it's probably going to be an iCast release deal because I think iCast is what in a couple weeks. So my guess would be then. David, yes. So David, I was just talking about that. Mend It. I tried Mend It on one, and then on the second one, I used this stuff. This was a suggestion from a subscribed Fission friend, vinyl fabric and plastic, Loctite flexible adhesive. And this stuff looks a little bit better than the Mend It, but I want to test them both and see which one will hold up better. So this one like didn't discolor as much. They both feel strong, so hopefully
Are
that'll
they
fix it.
the same colored frog? No, it's just wondering.
One's green pumpkin and one's black, so I don't know how
Okay.
much of a difference that would make, but
Yeah, no,
yeah, we'll
I
see.
wouldn't think.
Gonna
Okay.
try Shugu. I don't know what that is. Frogging soon. Well, good luck, brother. I can't wait to go frogging myself. I was gonna go today and then got busy with stuff here at the house and then got stuck in plastic making for like 3 hours because it's an addiction. So that will be the giveaway tonight. About an hour, we will have the giveaway going. We've already been going for 21 minutes. About an hour, I'll do the giveaway. If you're hopping in late, we've got about 210 people in here now, which is awesome. I made a whole bunch of my own plastics. I might even throw some of my jigs in, but trying a new method where you join two different colors of plastic. It's something that's, pretty easy to do. It's nothing like new and crazy, but it's just something that I've never done and gives some really cool looks to plastic. So that'll be the giveaway, some special DEBO'S stuff. Put a box together and hook you up. So thank you, David, for the donation. Hey, there's Mike. Mike, so what's going on? Oh, yeah, they're getting ready for iCast. We got a lot of new products expanding on colors, too. Awesome, dude. Dude, I had the grunt out the other day. I didn't get to catch anything on it and ended up getting rained out, but that thing looks awesome in the water. You did a good job on that, dude. Jared, do you use any line conditioner? I do use line conditioner when I first spool up, but I am absolutely horrible at reapplying ever after.
Like a God,
I
what's it
use it when I
called?
spool and then don't ever do anything.
What's the brand you use, Debo? Is it the
What's that?
God, what brand line conditioner do you use?
I use this stuff that I got from Walmart and it's always worked well for me. Real Magic is what it's called.
Yeah. So that's crazy. We both had a can of Real Magic, and mine I think was much older than what yours was. And on the front of mine, it said no fluorocarbons. And I was like, does that mean no fluorocarbon line? Or when it sprays out, it doesn't produce any type of fluorocarbons? I'm not a smart man, so
I think it would mean it was the old formula that you're not supposed to use on fluorocarbon, but it's fluorocarbon safe now. So
gotcha. I may have to get some more of that. I know it was pretty good and worked pretty well if you kept up on it, obviously.
Like the KVD line conditioner, I haven't tried I think it's called Real Snot or something. I think it's Mike Iconelli's. I've heard people say that's pretty good, but I've never used it. Bootleg, I completely agree. Line conditioner on everything but braid. Yeah, I only put it on the nylon lines, fluoro, mono, copolymer, that type of stuff. I don't use anything on braid. Basil's Chap says, Randy, we need to get you out more. Yep, Randall, we need to get you out of your jail there, whoever's holding you hostage.
Whatever. What's going on here?
Oh, I did get to throw the A10 the other day too. Those things look awesome in the water. Got a bunch of people saying, hey. Just drop, yeah, Gramps drop. Oh, so we're talking about line. People saying how they do it. Gramps drops his in a bowl of water. Yeah, just don't overcomplicate line spooling. I put the spool between my feet. Yeah, my dad still does that. He puts a pencil between it and holds it with his toes. He's like, it's the way I've always done it. I'm gonna keep doing it.
I ain't gonna change for nothing.
Oh yeah, so Gramps was talking about. I did get a used drop from American Legacy, and I got this in like 2 days. The hookup, but I guess it helps that they're a Midwestern company. So Randall had the old version of the Custom Pro, which he absolutely loves, and I've had this reel held hostage for quite some time. What speed is yours? A
It's
7.5 to 1. I think I got a 6 speed. Oh no, I got a 7.5 to 1 too. American Legacy had this used. I got it for like, I don't know, 100 and something dollars. I think it's regular, like a $270 reel. So check those out. I've got actually a few reels from them. I got a Corrado, and something else. But yeah, I just get the stuff that says like excellent condition or like very good. And so far, everything's been very, very, very nice. If you're to get something that's like good or fair or something, I'm assuming it's, pretty used, pretty worn, which that's what you're buying is something used. So don't get one of those and be like, oh, this doesn't look new. Let's see. Finally broke down and bought a cheap spooler from Amazon. Yeah, I know a lot of people that use those. I think it's the Piscifin one. They like it a lot. Yeah, the name of that chatterbait from Berkeley or bladed jig. They called it the slobber knocker. Interesting choice. What are you more excited for? Mr. Hayes says the Z-Man Hellraiser or the Berkeley slobber knocker. I have not seen the Z-Man Hellraiser. Have they showed any pictures of it yet?
What is it?
The only Hellraiser I know is the dude with all the pins in his head. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can get a shot of it quick. The Hellraiser. Oh, here we go. So they've got like, you'll have to go. It says Daggum Hell on Water right here. I don't know how I would show
It's
this.
flipping and stuff. What's going on?
They got all the fanciness going on here. Now this is high tech. How many lives do you get to watch where you go to watch live on your computer and you're watching something on the person's phone? I don't know. So it doesn't really show what it is. I don't know if they have other pictures of it and stuff, but yeah, interesting. I'll have to look that up, dude. I don't know what it is. Let's see. What else do we got here? So, okay, let's get into some of the show meat. And I'm stealing that from the Burley Bunch because I like that. Some of the show meat. So, how do you stop sucking at fishing? Specifically, one thing that came to mind. I keep kicking around this random Coke Zero can. I don't know where it went. Specifically, for me, it's a mindset thing. So, Randy and I kind of dog on each other through the day of, oh, you're getting all upset, you're not catching anything. And we have to remind each other, dude, we're out here having fun. We're number one, we're lucky we even have the ability to get out here and do this because so many people don't. Like it's something that we take for granted. And two, Randy and I have always talked, there's always a way to catch fish, right? Now, if we're out bank fishing, it can be a lot harder. The odds are stacked against you as a bank angler. Whereas when you're in a boat, you can move around the whole lake. You can look for spots. Bank fishing, you're often limited to a few spots that you can even get through to cast. But one thing we always talk about is, dude, there's fish here. And we know there's fish here. And we know there's a way to catch them. It's just how do we figure it out? So one of the things that we always talk about is just taking a step back for a second, looking at what we're doing. Do we need to change up things? Do we need to move spots? And kind of talk through it as opposed to, it seems like so much you get out there, you get pissed, you just start zombie reeling. It's almost like you don't care. You just get stuck in the motion. I'm just going to do this and grind the day out. Yeah. It's like you get like too stubborn and you don't want to say, okay, I know what I'm doing right now is not working. I need to stop and change and do something different. And I don't know if it's like, as anglers, I think we get a little lazy. Like I've already got to this spot. I've got this tied on. This should work based on what I know. So I'm going to keep throwing it, even though you haven't had a bite in 2 hours. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how many different times I've just like, well, I'm here. This is the rod I have, or this is the combo that I have with the lure that I have tied on. I'm just going to run with it and try to make that square peg fit in that round hole type of thing where I'm like too stubborn to do anything. And really that just comes back just to being on me where it's like you said, that there's, what is going on here? Sorry. It's like, that there's fish out there, that where they should be, at least if it's a lay down, if it's rocks, if it's under shade, if it's under, 100 different things, you should be throwing something there, and you just get that laziness and you just got to get that out of your head, that defeatist mentality of, It doesn't matter. They're just not biting today. It's the over it's the bluebird skies, or it's this, or it's the that, you know?
Yep. Yep. Alabama's worst angler says I'm here to stop sucking. What did I miss? Well, that was just clickbait because we suck at fishing. So no, I'm kidding. Uh, nothing too crazy yet. Just kind of been going through comments, answering some questions. The first thing we're talking about is mindset, right? So that's the number one thing is sometimes you just got to take a step back, recognize what you're doing is not working and change it up. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, there's a lot of newer anglers, and even I'm guilty of this, and that's switching too often. And I think that just kind of comes with experience that you've kind of get into that rhythm of, okay, I got a couple bites on this. I'm going to switch over and try this when I'm to wood. I'm going to flip this, or I'm going to use this to search. But a lot of new anglers just like I was next to this kid. I say kid. He was probably like 18, 19. But like every 2 minutes, dude was like switching to something different, cutting it off, and just dude had to have went through like 20 baits. Kept like looking over at me. And that's something that happens. Like you just feel like you're looking for that magical lure. And
Mm-hmm.
again, just as much as you're looking for that magical lure is changing up where you're going. A lot of times it's not even changing things and like big changes. It might just be small stuff, changing the cadence, changing, where you're fishing. You've been fishing wood because it always works, but it's not working today. But you notice this lake now has grass. Fish the grass lines, fish the grass pockets, that kind of stuff. So that's what I would say is the number one thing is just take a little step back, look at what you're doing, and get ready to change.
Yeah, I mean, one of the crazier things that, you kind of thought of that, or you kind of brought it up a little bit ago, the zombie fishing, the chuck and line, chuck and line, chuck and line, that's all you're doing. Like I've actually come across, like, I guess not necessarily patterns, but I've picked up a few random fish here and there with doing something crazy like that, or finding some of that grass, or just doing things like that. So even if you are kind of stuck in that mentality of the chuck and wind, you still have to at least be open to, if you're chucking and winding, there something may come of that. You may run into something, you may bump into something, you may find something new in a body of water that you fished for years that you'd never known of. So even if you do get stuck, you still have to take any type of opportunity or learning experience that you've found on that day, because you did get the chance to get out there. You can't just blow the entire day on nothing.
Right, right. Jim in the house. What's up, Jim? Mr. Tackle Junkie. Everybody give him a follow if you haven't. Good cat. And as his name implies, he is a tackle junkie and shows lots of cool tackle type stuff. Good cat as well. Give him the follows. Let's see. Chris says finally got the first frogfish of the year after a few misses with the Scum Fresh Trophy Series. Is that the little popping one? The Trophy Series. I can never keep those straight. I had a really good day on the popping one. White Whale in the house says, "What's happening, Debo, Dizzle, TJ, and Grams? What's up, my friend?"
What's going on?
We talking about mending the flapping frog. Can we see a live demo? Dude, all honestly, I did with it, I just took both of them, glooped some of this on, and then used a paintbrush to, like a little cheap paintbrush to kind of thin it out, try to get it in all the cracks and everything, move it around. That's it.
you know, Mendit comes with its own paintbrush.
Dizzle's
Just
got his mended
saying.
at the ready. Do you have that in your holster? Do you have that like a little Leatherman
Yeah, I
thingy
do.
that you wear on you?
I think it was originally made for hot sauce, but I use it for Mendit now.
What's that? You cut out.
I said I think that was originally made for hot sauce, but I use it for Mendit now.
I use Minute on a couple of my swamp donkeys. Yeah, people have said that the weight on those comes out, and I haven't had an issue, but again, any sort of weight where it's out there getting bent and moved, it can happen. View on multi-piece baitcaster rods. I hate anything other than a one piece. I've fished like two pieces. I've never used anything other bigger like or more pieces than a two piece, but yeah, I like one piece rods.
I know, like I said earlier, I went out and got a two-piece just so I could throw it in the trunk of the car and not have, 7-footers taking up the majority of the inside. So I had, I had to deal with what I was working with, and it's been a while since I used a two piece. I could definitely tell that there was just like a little bit of a weird type of give, and I caught myself every once in a while just pushing the two pieces back together, even though they were still tight and not coming apart. I just found myself doing it over and over again.
Yep. Nick is trying to goat me into 100-member giveaway equals a zillion giveaway. Let's see how close we are. Let's see. Maybe we'll get into that. Maybe I don't know about the zillion. I think that's probably my favorite Baitcaster ever made. We're up to 87 members. I hadn't checked it in some time. Holy crap, you all are freaking awesome. Absolutely awesome. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do something awesome for a 100 member giveaway. I'll have to promote it a little bit more ahead of time. We get 100 members. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll give away a cool reel. I've got a couple laying around here. I don't know about the zillion though. I got 2 of these. I can give this extra one away. One I'm keeping. I'm doing a review on. This other one I can just give this away.
It's seen better days.
Oh, Dizzle, I'm just teasing.
It was in immaculate condition when I gave it to you. It looks pretty dinged up now.
Oh, shut up. Shut up, Randy. Oh, Gary said he's watches the channels regularly, just the first time getting on a live and commenting. Cool, man. Well, thanks for jumping in. Hopefully you have fun. I try not to take the lives too crazy serious because I know it's kind of hard to learn on the fly on a live. So really a lot of questions, a lot of just trying to have fun, talk fishing on a Saturday night. It's usually always a good time. Can't blame a guy for trying. Yeah, Nick, you know what? We'll do something fun for 100 members. That's a pretty big. Oh, there's the Coke Zero can. That's a pretty big milestone. Like 100 people for me anyway. You know, a lot of people might be like, "Oh, well, these guys have 1,000 members," but I didn't think I'd have more than like 20 or 30. So we'll do something fun for that, Nick. Good point. Maybe we can wait and see how long it'll take to hit that or get close. And do a fun giveaway. Tonight's giveaway is a bag of repaired frogs, says Randall Pink Floyd. Oh, Randall Pink Floyd. I got your box. I just have to meet Randall to give it to him. So I didn't open it. I didn't mess with any of it. It sounded like there was a bunch of clamshells. The box is like this, like 3 feet by. I bet he threw a bunch of clamshells in there, dude.
Can't wait.
Ooh. Diesel's fishing. How important is it to walk the dog with frogs? Is it really necessary? Absolutely. I could not stress more to walk a frog in place. Another thing with walking a frog is you can really, like, there's different ways to retrieve a frog. I don't know that I have a standard one here. Pretend this doesn't have the tail on it, but so there's like multiple ways you can walk a frog. One is like chugging it, which is what a lot of people do. You throw it out and then you keep your line kind of tight and just chug, and then stop, chug, almost like a pulling, chugging it. That works. I know Randy tends to fish it that way. He fishes a little bit quicker. I'm definitely a walk the frog guy. So go ahead, Randy.
I was just going to say, to me, it's obviously it's something I'm not very good at doing, but I definitely give it a shot. You can't, like, especially with the frog, or honestly, really with almost any lure, you have to be open to trying all methods of retrieval and stuff with it. God, there was that one day, Debo, that they wanted nothing with a really good frog day. They wanted nothing with like a walking motion whatsoever. It was like a big pop pause, and usually they were hitting at that point in time. But we tried the walking and it just didn't work.
Yeah, and there's been days and like the thinner stuff. I don't know what it's called. Like, I don't know if that's duckweed or like, but it's like it doesn't take a heavy frog to cut through it and leave like a trail. But there's been days when Randy was doing that and running it fast and got way more bites than me. So I'm not going to say that how important is it to walk a frog, that yes, that's the only way you should do it. Have multiple things ready. But the thing I like about walking a frog is people talk about, like, should you have walking, like pointed nose frogs, walking frogs, or a popping frog? And the thing is, if you get good at walking a frog, so you can cover good water, it can mimic a bait fish. You can cover water quickly with it. But the thing I like is if you walk it real hard, so a lot of slacklining, use really hard pops, you can get that mouth or that nose to pop. So it will look like a popping frog. Like, it will move a lot of water and you can get it to sit in one spot, just turning side to side. So yes, I would say definitely learn it, but by no means is that like the only way to work a frog. But it does definitely come in handy. And really, the big key with it is pointing your rod at it and making sure you have slack line. So making sure your line is like laying down. You don't want the line to be tight to it. You want it to be laying down, slack line. Pop it and point back at your target. Pop, pop, pop. Don't drag it. Pop,
So you're
pop,
saying,
pop.
Debo, you could even get a frog like this to, ooh, which way are we going here? Yeah, there we
You can
go.
walk any
To
frog.
walk.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, those actually walk really well. That's the 6 cents Vega frog.
The Vega frog. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, those walk really well. They're a longer body. Generally, the ones with a longer body like that, like the swamp donkey, it's identical to this. This is a Teckle Sprinker, but I think they're made in the same factory or something because they're the exact same frog. But longer frogs like that tend to walk a little bit easier, and it's like it depends on the keel of the frog, how like the belly is and stuff. But you can honestly walk any of them. Some are just easier than others. Are you from Iowa or am I wrong? I think my shirt tells you that. Go Hawks.
I was gonna make a joke, but I didn't. Would have been a bad
Fell asleep.
taste.
Don't joke about my Hawkeyes. Fell asleep, almost misled. Hey, speaking of Hawkeyes, how about getting a number 4 draft pick? Keegan going number 4 to the Kings. I'm gonna have to watch some Kings. I didn't even know they were still a basketball team.
Oh, that was basketball. I was like, Kings,
That's a
what
joke.
sport is that?
Yeah, they're horrible. I was kind of hoping to go to the Pistons. Garza plays there, so we could have had Garza and Murray. That would have been pretty sweet, but let's see. I'm posting gibberish. Eliza, you do you, sister. We're not gonna judge. Oh, hey, right there. Creek and Trails is talking about it. Not particularly. Another technique is called chugging, where it just pops quick without walking. Yep, that is another good way to do it. I like having all kinds of actions at my disposal.
That's kind of more of the method of what I use. Is that
Yeah, you're
that
definitely
kind
a
of?
chugger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quick. Chug, 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 chug.
Right.
Dizzle, what's your favorite jig? Okay, let's both answer it. If we only had one jig forever to use, what would it be?
Are you just talking brand?
I think anything. I think head, brand, everything.
It'd be a ball head War Eagle.
So I don't have a War Eagle here, but these are pretty close to mimicking it. These are some DEBO customs. I modded my mold to have the heavier hook, but that's the nice thing about the War Eagle heavy finesse jigs. They have a stout hook, so you can throw it on a baitcaster no problem. That's what we modded those to be, is a heavy hook, little small
That looks
compact
really
profile.
good. Oh, jeez.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
And that's one thing Randy has really showed me. He's absolutely mopped the floor with a jig and me certain days, and I really never had a bunch of confidence in a ball head jig like this. And that's literally all it is. It's one of the best you can fish for rocks, hands down. Ball head like that, try to go as light as you can get away with. These are all 5/16. That's what I like. I know Randy fishes a 3/8 a lot. It just depends on the fall rate, but yeah, those ball head jigs are absolutely no joke. He has shown me the finesse jig way. I am now a believer.
Yeah, and I really need to. So I did finally get all of my stuff mostly rearranged into like a 41-gallon tote that I carry around with me when I go fishing now. And I realized there are about 6 or so plastic containers that have jigs all up in them. I need to do something.
You have as many jig boxes as I have frog boxes when we go. And then we each end up throwing one jig and one frog.
Yeah.
My favorite jig. No, I don't know that you really care. Randall is the definitely the jig aficionado, pun intended. Oh, hey, there's a swamp donkey. Yeah, look at the similarity between the Reaction Innovation swamp donkey. Hey, that's another jig, and the Teckle Sprinker. They're the exact same thing. They got to be made in the same like.
You haven't thrown that swamp donkey yet, have you?
Yes, this is the one I threw at a lake that we fished at. Yeah.
Oh, those legs look pretty long.
Yeah, I cut them to the size of the body.
Of the body, yeah.
Yeah, I like the swamp donkeys though. I don't know. Oh, my favorite jig. Honestly, I've always been a big swim jig guy. Like I've always had
Oh
confidence
yeah.
in a swim jig, but like flipping a jig or like dragging a jig like Randy, I honestly don't do that a ton. I do just to like do it sometimes and try to get better at it. But like if I'm flipping heavy cover, I've always been a lot more confident in a Texas rig. Like I would just rather throw a Texas rig in and then have like a swim jig to hit the outsides of it and stuff. So I would say like a swim jig for me, something with a good pointy head that can come through grass, comes through wood pretty well. Um, yeah, that's kind of me.
Yeah, I do like the option of, I get weird. Like I'll show up to go fishing with Debo and I'll have like six rods with me or six combos, and three, maybe four of them will all be like bottom fishing type of lures where I'm like, I need a jig, I need a free rig, and I need a Texas rig, and then maybe something else.
And then I need a really light jig that I can fish topwater.
Yeah, right.
Rob in the house. Rob, good supporter. One of the coolest tattoos in the fishing biz. Love it. Smash the like button, folks. It's free. Helps Debo. Not even half the viewers have hit the like button. What? That's a daggum Travis mockery. I'm even doing a giveaway here of plastics that you can only get your hands on via Debo. These are customs that I made. Guaranteed fish catchers. Trust me. These will catch you thousands
Size,
of
no
fish.
guarantee.
Yeah, size I can't guarantee, but I guarantee these will catch fish. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate the kind words, brother. And yeah, if you guys like the lives, I was actually just talking to Nick, Fat Boy Fishing, before. He's like, "Are you doing a live?" I'm like, "Man, I haven't heard from Randy. I don't have anything planned." I'm like, I don't know." He's like, "Oh, come on, man. He likes the lives." So if you all like the lives, leave a comment afterwards. Leave a comment now. Let me know what you want to see more of. If there's some more people we can get on, we had a slew of guests there for a while, and then everybody just started ghosting me. So what do you do? But if you have ideas or things that we need to go through, I want to like have a little bit more regimented live where we've got like multiple things, like actual points to talk about. It's not just
Like
kind of
only
fly
if you had
by.
like a whiteboard or something to write down topics of discussion on. Oh wait, you do.
Whiteboard sponsored by the Dizzle. We appreciate you, my friend. Let's see. Oh, the Hellraiser seems to be some sort of top water. It's like a chatter top water.
Who makes it, or who's going to make it?
Interesting. Z-Man. It's tightly under wraps, but the only info they've released is it's a top water lure. Interesting.
Um,
Paul asks, Debo, what is your favorite reel? The Zillion? Yeah, I think right now, I think that's probably my favorite baitcaster overall. There's some reels that I like better for like some certain applications, but like if I only had one right now, that's it. That is it. How about you, Randall? If
um,
you only had one reel right now, what would it be?
I'm really digging on the Corrado. Really,
Mm.
really digging on that Corrado. It just seems like it's nice. It's really nice. That's what I'm liking right now is the Corrado. And what is it? It's the 100 or 200?
The K, yeah, 200K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Or I guess it'd be like the 200 HG. It's the Corrado K. Yep. Or the opposite, you change everything too quickly. Yeah, we're back to talking about this. Was at 8:04. What
Oh
time is it?
yeah.
Oh my god, I'm 20 minutes behind. How does this happen?
So the other thing that I've like started to do, or not necessarily changing, if I feel like it's a good lure, or if I feel like they should be biting on this lure, if I've had confidence in that lure, especially if it's like a plastic. So last night I went to a lake and I was throwing a Ned rig. I didn't feel like the Ned rig was the white color. It was basically just super stained dirty. And I had, what is it, the the yum dinger, that's the one with the paddle tail on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had one of those and I threw it on a Ned head, and I was just kind of swimming that back just because I didn't have a whole lot of stuff with me. And I wasn't getting a whole lot, or I felt like I was getting bites, but they were just nipping at the tail. So I took it and probably, you know how it's got that little smooth part, part way down from the head. I ripped it off right about in the middle of that and shortened the lure down some, and actually ended up catching. I mean, it was a dink of all dinks, but I ended up catching a fish shortly after I'd pulled that front section off of it. So where changing a lure too often is never, or could be, a bad thing or not a good thing, like maybe thinking of, hey, I have this same color, same type of lure, but in different sizes. Maybe instead of switching to a whole brand new lure, I just downsize or upsize to it.
Yep. And Shan actually hit the second part of what I wanted to talk about. So mentality. So when you get into like a fishing day where you just like you're grinding, you can't get into anything. You know, the whole thing was stop sucking at fishing. Isn't that like there's just a switch you can flip and everything's going to be good, right? But it's that mentality of, okay, the day's been slow. Generally people get in, and I kind of talked about it earlier, fishing like a zombie, right? But the thing that might completely change your day is putting motion into your lure, a little motion in the ocean, right? So if you've got a swim jig, a spinnerbait, you look at the old dogs fishing swim jigs. If you're not popping your rod, you're not fishing a swim jig right. Ask them. And really, what that's going to do is it keeps flaring that skirt. As instead of just one jig, you've got to imagine this jig coming through the water. It looks nice and flared out now, but when it's coming through the water, through the water, all this is pushed back, right? And when you stop, that jig skirt really flares. It'll puff and pop. So put some motion into your lure that way. That's one thing. Two, change your cadence. So not only imparting action to the lure with your rod, but as you're doing your zombie reeling, pause. For example, a crankbait, right? The video actually that I just put out, the fishing that Seeker 6, as I'm fishing that and I hit a little bit of grass and I pulled it really hard, that fish just absolutely crushed it as soon as I did that. Same thing for stopping. So, my crankbaits go along, you stop it, it rises a little bit, and then you go real quick again. Those starts and those stops can trigger fish, like Shan is saying, to react to it. They might be sitting there looking at it, and if they've seen 100 crankbaits go by them all the same speed, but they see one going and going all crazy, kind of like a jerkbait almost underwater, you can get them to just out of instinct, just bite at it, just because they're curious, not because they want to eat it. They might not even like be hungry. But their way of touching and being, what's the word? Not intrigued, interested in something, is they'll go up and mouth stuff, right? They'll go up. My camera underwater when I'm ice fishing, I'll have bass go up to it and just go, and then go by. They're interested. They use their mouth to check stuff, kind of like sharks. Divers talk about sharks that you have to be careful because a lot of times they'll just kind of come up and use their mouth to check stuff out. They're very curious. Bass are the same way. Predators are the same way. And the third thing to that is, so you can impart action to the lure with your rod, and sometimes more, sometimes less. Like if you've been working a shaky head and you're just daggum whippy sticking it, yeah, slow down. Instead of just bouncing it crazy, drag it just a little bit, real subtle hops, right? So we've got moving the bait, imparting action on it with the rod. We've got different speeds to make it do different things in the water. And third is hit stuff. And I preach it a ton. Find wood, pitch to wood. When I'm pitching to wood, I'm getting as close as I can to it. And the same thing with my search baits. If I'm bringing a spinner bait by it, I'm going to try to get as close to that log as I can, hit it and make it deflect off. And again, that's going to make those fish do the same thing like Shan's saying. They're going to react to it. They might not necessarily be hungry. They might look at it and think that doesn't look good at all. But as soon as it does this weird motion, they'll lash out and grab it just out of reaction. What I've said before is, if I throw a ball at you, what are you going to do? Out of reaction, most people put their hand up or move. They're doing the same thing. They're just grabbing it with their mouth. So that's another thing. The fishing mindset is, don't just get locked into, this is how I fish a chatterbait. I literally didn't. Today sucks. I'm not catching anything, dude. Yeah. I've been out here for 2 hours. You're doing the same stuff. Mix it up,
Let me throw all my stuff on the side of the road, and anybody can have it.
I do
Debo
say that.
says that all the time. But so one thing I was also going to add on to that third point for you, Debo, is not only if you're knocking, say, a spinnerbait against a log or something like that, and you see a fish come out, if you haven't seen any activity all day long and you haven't seen any signs of fish or haven't had any bites and things like that, and you finally come across that grass patch or you finally come across that log and you hit it, and you get some sort of reaction, that's at least giving you a little bit of a hint. Or, like I was saying earlier, don't waste the day on just zombie casting. Make a note of it and be like, oh, I just hit that log and I saw a boil, or I saw a weight come over towards my bait or something like that, and be like, okay, I need to find more wood. I need to pitch more wood, and I need to catch more fish off of wood or grass,
Find
something
more
like that.
wood, pitch to more wood, keep finding and pitching wood. Mr. Pink Floyd gives us a good one here. If you could only choose one, would you prefer a too heavy bait or a too light of bait? I would definitely have to go too heavy, because too light can just, you're looking at backlashes. You try to cast that in the wind. A perfect example, this spring was so freaking windy for us. It was insane. Every time I went out, it was like 75-mile-an-hour winds. So I fished a 3/4 crankbait, or lipless crank, quite a bit this spring. One of my own painted ones.
See, I'm really torn when it comes to that topic, because I usually equate not hitting your microphone with your hand, but I usually equate a bigger bait or a heavier bait with a bigger or bait overall. And that's like one of my, I guess, arch nemesis is larger baits. I'm totally intimidated by them 100%, where I don't necessarily like throwing them. So I'm going opposite of, I guess, too light of a bait, because I have to assume that too light of a bait is more along the lines of stuff that I like to throw, more finessey stuff.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on how heavy and how light. If he's like, you have to throw a 3-ounce lipless versus a
Right.
1/4 ounce lipless, I take the 1/4.
Exactly.
Gary gives a good point. I know why I suck at fishing. Fish don't swim in treetops. I really need to learn how to cast better. Yeah, casting accuracy, and that's something you can work on. Actually, there's a day going to be coming up where I was out grinding for the day and it just sucked, but I really practiced on a whole number of different casts, casting in like certain spots, and I kind of made that the deal of the day, because fishing was not super crazy. I just kind of locked one thing in my hand and said, I've been getting bites on this. It's sporadic, but I'm going to try to cast as many times as I can, put it in as many different spots, and you can always work on casting every time you go out.
I thought it was pretty funny, Debo. You were, this is a couple years back now, you were demonstrating in a video like different types of casts and things like that. You were roll casting down a bank, parallel with the bank, and you ended up, you
Crap,
were
Grams,
literally
I just
just
now
out
saw
there.
that.
You were just out there talking, cast and stuff like that, and you like started hooking up with fish because you had that ability to do that. Roll. I think it was a roll cast at the time that you were demonstrating, and you started catching fish at that point in time. So that's like
Yeah.
should be something like that builds up your confidence or something like that when you actually do try to do a different type of cast or something like that on a tough day, and you stick it underneath that dock, or you get underneath the overhang, and you get some sort of positive reinforcement on it.
All right, you guys ready? Look what the cat drug
Oh,
in.
Boom.
Hey, there he
oh,
is.
there he is.
This old dog jumping in here. What's up, Graham?
Boom. What's up, fellas? Ladies and
What's going
gents in the
on?
chat. How are you guys?
Listen to that booming voice. I'm surprised you're not a radio DJ. Would that be an RJ, radio jockey? What they call them?
Should be in podcasting, but who has time for that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Don't even get me. So I started to look into it because people are like, man, you should put this on a podcast. I'm like, yeah, shouldn't be too hard. And I started looking into it. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty hard. So you can listen on
What?
YouTube.
It's funny because we talk about it, but it's like my little running joke now is I don't have time to go fishing or do this or that because I have sponsorabilities.
Yep.
So,
Preach in the choir, brother. Preach in the choir.
I know you're busy too. You're working with a lot of the same folks. And then, I've taken the last few days off because we have grandbabes in the house and we had them out playing at the.
I saw that.
Took them
Like
to
a
the
fun
beach
day.
I normally go, to the lake I normally go fishing in, and took them out to go swimming. So, yeah, I'm taking the weekend off and just, spending the time with the fam because you got to do it.
Gramps, do you ever
Oh,
get out
dude.
there
Yeah,
in
it
a
goes too quick.
situation like that and you're like, oh, they're busting? How are they busting on a day like this when I don't got any rods with me? I don't got the kayak
Always,
with
dude. It
me.
never fails.
Oh,
Never
always,
fails.
yeah.
Hey, I'm doing stuff with the family, and it's like perfect overcast, 80 degrees, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You're seeing frogs just getting blown up on all over.
Oh
the
yeah,
place.
frogs are just getting demolished, and I'm like,
Oh, Gramps,
Everybody's frog but mine.
you were on a mission to catch your first frogfish, right?
I've been throwing a frog lots. You know, I wasn't throwing a ton during last month's mayhem trying to qualify for the national championships for KBF, but I threw it quite a bit. I mean, I've had blow-ups again, but we talked to my brother quite a bit. I may go try to catch up with them tomorrow or later this week because I have a video, as probably Debo did, with Do It to film. And I think I found a perfect little spot for a bait that I'm, going to be throwing. But it's also the place that my brother and buddy have been catching lots of frogfish on. So there's a good chance. So either tomorrow or maybe I'll take off the day Thursday and go up and fish this little special place.
So one thing I would recommend for you to do is to obviously don't concentrate on size whatsoever. Just concentrate on getting that first one hooked up. So you kind of, and obviously I'm not a frog fisherman whatsoever as compared to Debo or really anybody else, but it's that first confidence one because I'd been out, had blow-ups on frogs and missed them. And then like I was talking earlier, Debo and I had that immaculate day where we just caught all of the frog fish. Granted, they weren't size, but confidence, man.
I've actually had Rafi from Monster Bass offer to take me down and go fish with some of the guys down south to make that happen. I was like, listen, just like it was 2 weeks ago, probably in a place that had a lot of really good grass, bass came up and got it. I mean, you see it pulling it down. I go and I count, and I'm waiting. I set the hook and I come back with nothing but grass. The grass was all in the hooks and everything. Yeah, it'll happen. The good Lord it's probably going to be my PB. Who knows? The time and the place and the magic, whenever it's supposed to be, it'll happen. So I'm just
on a frog. I want a PB
it'll be
on a frog.
PB. Your rod snaps in half.
It'll be the most glorious story ever. Because it's just the running. It's just like kind of the running thing with the channel right now.
Creek and Trails, good question. What's your preferred knot to fluorocarbon to a leader? Preferred knot for fluorocarbon to a lure. Good Lord. I've been having a lot of breakoffs right above the knot. For sure, my favorite hands down is the double shindo. It's G-Man's knot that I learned years ago. It's simply a doubled over clinch knot. That's all it is. So instead of doing the improved clinch knot where you wrap it, you go through the little hole by the eye and then go back through. It's literally just wrap it and go through the hole by the eye of the lure and pull it tight. I think they call it like the shark knot or something. Somebody sent me a thing where Mark Zona was showing it, but I learned it a long time ago from G-Man. Randy, what do you use?
I'm a Palomar guy through and through, pretty much.
Oh,
Grams,
what do you think of it?
And Fat Boy will tell you too, because I've been telling them all. When you lose a double digit on a Palomar with fluorocarbon, you'll never do it again.
I don't think I'm going to be in that situation anytime soon. But what's your go-to, Grams?
So I have a couple. If you're throwing a jig, double San Diego jam knot. If you're throwing a moving bait, crankbait, chatterbait, obviously, the regular San Diego. And then pretty much on most everything else, I will use like a uni knot. So like a spinner bait or, say now when you get into like pitching and flipping, you like Texas rig stuff like that, I will do a snell knot in some occasions, especially if I'm like heavy punching. But for the most part, you can use a uni knot on any of your spinner baits, your Texas rigs and things like that. But if it's a chatterbait or crankbait, it's a San Diego jam knot. And then if it's a jig, because you're just really, giving that whammy hook set, then it's the double San Diego jam. And I'll use that for the swim jigs and things like that too.
I don't know knots from anything else. Is it a pretty easy knot? Because that's why I like that's why I like the Palomar, because I feel like it's a super easy knot. It's quick, and I feel like it's fairly strong.
If you watch my San Diego jam and my double San Diego jam, I've got two shorts out on them. They're very, very simple. I mean, you're going to be like, oh, because
It's
literally,
like the opposite. It's like the opposite way of doing the like clinch knot. You're just taking it
yep,
up the line first and then going around.
yep.
Okay.
So you're just taking it, going through the bait, looping it over your finger so that you have a double line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through the bottom one, through the top one, wet it, cinch it down, and it's that simple. And then with the double for the jig, you're looping it over and you're wrapping 2 lines around 1, 2, 3, and then you're just running it back up through the top loop, cinching it down. And that's why they call it a double, because it's 2 lines instead of 1.
That's
But
what I
they're
used to use for
super
frogs.
simple. Once you get it down, it's like, why am I not been using this? It's so easy.
Yeah, they
And
are.
I'm actually getting ready to do another drop shot knot video, because a lot of people use the Palomar for that. And there's actually a simpler way to do that. And I'm so far behind. I got so far behind getting this new kayak and then fishing the Mayhem. I mean, everything that was on my schedule to be done, I'm never going to get caught up. And then I'm like, I'm just going to watch a baseball game and not worry about it.
You said you had a short on it?
Yeah, you'll see several knot tying YouTube shorts out there. I've been making them into reels on IG as well. But
Okay.
if you go to the
I'll
channel and
definitely
you
check
see
that
my
out.
shorts, you'll see there's a bunch of different ones.
I've been lazy on my
Awesome.
reels, dude. It's insane how much more Instagram is pushing reels than like a regular picture.
And it's just one of
Stupid.
those things, you know how it is with them. It's so funny because I did a stupid tube video last fall, just how to rig it. And that's when I first started with Do It. And my first thing I ever made with Do It was a stupid tube jig head. For whatever reason, like a month ago, that video picked up and went viral. I mean, like 400,000 views on it.
Damn.
And of course, shorts don't pay anything. So, but
Right. That's still cool.
though. I picked up 2,000 subscribers probably just from that stupid tube short.
Awesome.
So, I mean, they're well worth, taking a little bit of time and doing, but just like YouTube is doing shorts, Instagram is doing reels or pushing those more.
Yep.
And, because it also, people could share them to their Facebook, stories and things like that as
Right.
well. So
bottom line, question. I've been using the Jackal Cara frog. It's a good frog. Randy, I think you used it a little bit the other day.
Oh,
it's a
yeah, I
great
did.
bait. What braid do you use? I would say for the Cara, you could get away with 50. I personally don't ever go under 50. And I really don't like to go under 65, to be honest. I don't think the casting difference, like the distance you get, is that much more. But I know a lot of people that use kind of 50 as their standard. I'd say 50 on that if you like lighter, but I'd rather just throw a smaller diameter 65 pound.
See, I
But
was
I'm weird
really
like
kind
that.
of I was really kind of stuck on, if it's not 50, it's going to suck when it comes to any type of braid whatsoever. And it's got to be 65-pound Power Pro. Granted, I'm not really going away from Power Pro, but I've kind of moved down the line a little bit, and I've started throwing some 50, some 55. On that frog, I was actually throwing 50-pound, 8 strand or whatever it's called, Power Pro. And then I started getting nervous that I hadn't retied it in a while. And I was like, I don't want to lose this thing. It was kind of expensive. And then I went to some unnamed or unknown named frog. I don't know what it was. So let's just move on to Gramps. What would you say?
Oh, he doesn't know what it was, y'all. Oh my gosh. Here, I'll give you a hint what kind of frog it was. It matches the bait that's on the screen right now. Yeah, he was throwing the Googie frog, trying to keep it secret over there. Fat Boy says, give away your aluminum kayak at 2K members. Dude, there's no way I would give that away.
That's part of the show.
Dude.
Debo,
I do have
give away Fat Boy's boat at 2,500.
Oh yeah, I'll give away your boat, Nick. I'll come up and just steal it out of your garage and give it away. I've actually got a aluminum kayak walkthrough. I've got a couple mods I've done to it, a couple things I'm adding, and might be able to get it out soon. So, what you got there, Gramps? Is that the Swamp Donk?
I've got the DEBO'S special that came with those awesome crankbaits of mine. I've got this Reaction Innovations. What do they call them? The Swamp Donkey?
The Swamp Donkey. I was actually just talking about mine. I got one here too.
Yeah.
The old black and perp.
So I'll have to tie this one on and give it a shot next. I've been using the Spro and the American flag pattern that I got from my buddy OEF5.
Yep.
Because, it'd be kind of cool to catch one on that too. But I'll have to take this up and give it a shot as well to see if it's the one.
Give it a go. Give it a go.
But yep, I've got it right here, ready to go.
I've got I'm
Sorry, I'm hitting buttons. Don't worry about it. I'm hitting buttons.
Gramps is trying to. That's how far behind I was. Sorry, Gramps. I didn't see your thing till late. My bad.
Oh yeah, I told him in the chat that he's probably 15 or so minutes behind, but he'll see it sooner or later.
Hey, Kuda's in here. If y'all like tackle making and anything tackle crafting and jigs, give Kuda over there to Jig Squad a follow. He is a good cat. And let's see. Okay, so I had a couple donations and member things going on here. Carter with the $3.99 super sticker, brother. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And I saw a couple more through here. I do not want to miss anybody. Let me see here real quick. Then we're going to get to the giveaway here. As always, you have to be present to win. I did say it this time, so.
Gramps, you don't understand how many times I bring up that lubricant for reels and whatnot with Debo when we've been out fishing.
Yeah.
Hey, Kuda's with you, Randall. He likes the ball head jigs too. That's his favorite.
Hell yeah. So hey, I just have a random question. If you guys are, if you're Debo looking for something to talk about or whatnot, I ran across these not the other day, years back, and I never wanted to use them because I didn't have very many. But they're for your treble hooks, so you put them on your treble.
What if you're all about that bass, no treble?
Well, yeah, I'm not even. So do you guys use these at all? I mean, I find them to be a lifesaver, and I've actually started to kind of go over to, I don't remember the maker, but it's more of like a coffin box. It's the Frambill coffin boxes for your crankbaits and things like that.
Bass Mafia.
Oh God, no, it's not the Bass Mafia. Those things are like $60 a piece. I'm not
the red and black one that you have?
I don't have one of those.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, they're blue, gray, and blue.
Oh, okay.
But
Flambeau, yeah,
so
it might be a Flambeau then.
Yeah, the Flambeau ones. But so I've started to do a bunch of these and just put them on like anything with treble hooks. These are a lifesaver, and usually if I have anything with treble hooks tied onto a rod I'm carrying around, I'll make sure and at least keep one of the hooks that's not hooked up to the hook keeper on there. So just a little FYI tip, if anybody hasn't come across these things, put these on.
My crankbaits kind of look like, Debo's when he picks them up and,
Yeah,
I have the pair that you gave me and they work really well, but I feel like if you'd have to have one for every crank you have in your box.
Okay, so this little bag that I got right here, I don't know how many sets are in here, but that was like $2 or something like that, I think. Well, actually, don't quote me on that. I have no idea how much they were. Okay, they weren't $2, but they're definitely worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be bad at like staying on top of putting them like back on. Do you find yourself just throwing them back in, or do you stay pretty on top of?
Well, traditionally, so like I said, the biggest thing is if I'm tying one of these on and it's got the double on there, I'm going to take one off to put it on the hook keeper. And usually if I'm out fishing, I'm just throwing it in my pocket. And then I'm taking the other one off and throwing that one in my pocket. So when I'm done and I move to the next spot, even if I don't have, or if I'm not going to throw this anymore, I'm still going to throw the front one back on there. So I have a ton of crankbaits right now that have just one of these on there, but I feel like that gives me a slight advantage, over the next time I want to grab out a handful of them.
But yeah, I guess for when I'm moving around, I've got the bait sacks that I keep the crankbait in while it's tied on. And then when they go back in the crankbait box, I don't carry a ton of crankbaits. Pretty much very specific. Some like 1.5 types. And then, jerk baits, very situational. It's one edge, Plano edge box, and they're all individually, sectioned off. I might have 2 or 3 lipless together, but I mean, I really will only throw a crankbait if it's someplace I cannot throw a jackhammer, or if the water's stupid dirty and I want that really chartreuse with a black back crankbait like the 6 cents 100 Crush X. very specific. Other than that, it's Jackhammer City. I mean, it's just
Right. Yeah, I'm tired of that, pulling a Debo custom crankbait out of the box and it's 87 of them hooked together, and just having to like sit there and shake them or like jab my fingers constantly, So
All right, we're gonna get the giveaway. Somebody already got it. What the hell? I cannot believe it. We have one entry. I always love typing it to see if anybody's already done it. Dude, there's some, I don't know who. Okay, so John Hancock, real quick, let me share this. John Hancock with the $10 bomb said 10 spot towards the zillion giveaway. Dude, I'll do something special for 100 members. We'll do a fun 100 members live. I'll try to find a good reel.
It's hard to part ways with that zillion. That's been
I've
parted with most of my Daiwas playing with more Shimanos this year, and I still have the zillion because that's my favorite like jackhammer.
Okay, so if we do #plastic in the chat right now, #plastic will get you entered in there. I don't know who already got it. We've got one entry. Somebody already did #plastic.
Debo, you definitely need to make a note on the whiteboard for #slobbernknocker sometime in the future.
Look up slobbernknocker. I'm not going to do that, actually. So, John, thank you for the 10 bomb. I will find something cool. I'll find something fun and cool. We'll get going in there. Let's see. Debo live on the water is coming. Ooh, live on the water. Yeah, I've never done a live like on the water. I feel like I want them to be like good quality. So it'd have to be something I'd have to test out beforehand, I guess. And I think I can do that on here.
Like now there are people that actually live stream Twitch on the water while they fish. And those guys have actually got it set up where the programs they use will read the chat into their ears so that when they talk, they can talk back to their chat while they're live fishing. I got a buddy of mine who actually does that, and he's actually got Chad Hoover doing that some every now and then.
Yeah, wow. I know my app, the whole Apple thing talks well with each other, works good with each other. So my phone will read my text if I have like, my earbud in, assuming that I have like any type of reception, Debo. That's the biggest thing that we'd have to be testing beforehand, because a lot of places you fish, with me in my neck of the woods, it's usually hilly, trees, bowls type of places,
Yeah, we run into a lot of that as well.
Jesse G, I think I could probably get a Shimano Scorpion DC for that if we want to do that. Something that not everybody has. That might be kind of fun. I've got a dealer who can hook me up on a price. So maybe that's what we do. Shimano Scorpion DC. Be kind of fun. Let's see. What line do you suggest? Bottom Line Outdoors. We're going to grab a giveaway winner here in a little bit. We're at 114. We've got 250 people. If you want to be entered, this is going to be a Debo custom giveaway. I've got Ned rigs I made. I've got some finesse worms. I've got some. Actually, this is the new Do It. I think they call it the Ripper. It's the longer, skinnier swim bait that I finally got my hands on. And I think this is going to be really cool for chatterbaits. It's not like the 3.5 inch, or maybe that's the Ripper. I forget what this one's called. This is the longer, skinnier one. It's kind of like the Kitech. Oh gosh, what do they call that? Slim Impact or Swing Impact, something like that. The skinnier Kitech. So it's a bunch of stuff that I made. I'll throw in some jigs, and I might throw in some other random tackle too. But I spent like 3 hours out in my garage nerding out, trying different stuff with plastics, doing tackle tinkering. But bottom line, what do you suggest for a spook? I like 14 pound on most spooks, unless I jump up to like the KVD Sexy Dog. I usually go to like a 16 or 17. Just a little bit bigger. Mono, I do prefer mono for my topwater walking baits because if you're trying to walk a bait with braid on it, braid is so limp that it'll kind of like move in the water, and as you're walking it, you'll get your trebles caught in it quite a bit more than mono. It's a little bit stiffer and sticks out in front of the bait. If you want to use braid, you still can, but I would run like a 6 foot, 4 foot something mono leader, or even just a couple feet, just to keep that mono out in front of the bait. and then go to braid.
I will contest that mono is probably my go-to as well for any type of top water walking. I know, Debo, there was that day that we were, chasing the blow ups around the lake, and I didn't have anything with mono on it, and so I was trying to use a light fluorocarbon, and I was like every other cast having to, well, probably every cast that wasn't a fish, pull out, the wraparound, the treble hooks deal. So
I was going to say to you, since you guys bank fish quite often, do you have a dedicated topwater rod that okay, today I'm going to do this? I mean, I've probably got, I don't know, 20 some rods and reels set up for either the boat or the kayak tournaments, and I don't have a single one dedicated with mono for throwing any kind of topwater baits.
Really? Yeah, I've got a couple that are set up with mono.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just don't throw topwater that much. If I do, it's going to be a buzz bait or the frog, but other than that, I mean, it's just, I'm there for, burning the banks with the chatterbait and seeing who I can get to hit.
Yep.
yeah, no,
Yep.
I have a couple of different mono rods, and unfortunately, I don't necessarily keep enough track of them, so I usually don't bring them, and I end up bringing like 6 frog rods with me, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Tom with the $5 bomb said, "Love your lives, always learn something." Well, thank you, Tom. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Thanks for being a member too. I'll definitely keep the lives going. It's one of those things where I want to have some, get a couple like guests lined up, and maybe a couple where we dedicate like a video, like almost like a video, like a subject and topic instead of just answering questions. These are fun. Don't get me wrong. I like just going off the cuff, but try to have some information we can share. So thank you, Tom. I appreciate that very much. Let's see. If you have not, hashtag plastic to be entered into today's giveaway. A lot of plastics that I've made. Throw a couple jigs in, some other stuff. So that is what we've got going on the screen now. If you're wondering why does it say plastic? Let's see. What else do we have?
Yeah, I know I don't even have as many lives during the summertime because sometimes you're just trying to be out fishing until the sun goes down,
So
Raul.
go ahead.
It's a question. Go ahead. So we can all answer
No,
it.
I was just going to go off the cuff with another question. So go with Raul here.
Okay. So this is a fun question because this is actually how I attack when I'm looking at getting some stuff together. And I actually had 3 rods picked out today, and it kept raining on and off. So I ended up just not going. I ended up doing the tackle making stuff, like I said. But that is exactly how I look at it, and kind of a fourth, usually like a finesse. So Raul asked, pick one for each. A top water, a middle column, and bottom. Only one each for the whole day. So pretty easy for me. Number one's going to be a frog. For where I fish, the lakes around here, we've got a ton of wood, like laydowns in the water, a ton of grass, scum, pads. You can take this through anything. You can walk it like a spook. You can walk it in place like close to wood like a popper. You can chug it. Frog is just so dang versatile. Now, there are times where I like a buzz bait, like if it's a little bit windier, you need the commotion. Frog pretty much sucks in that. Or if they're really keyed in on bait fish, I mean, it is so hard to beat like a spook. But I would go with frog for number one. Middle column, man, that's always such a tough one for me because I would say this year it's going to be a jackhammer, and I blame that on Gramps. I've really tried to put the jackhammer use in. I haven't even thrown the cross eyes, which has kind of been my favorite the past couple years. That's going to be my middle. And last on the bottom, I would say I would go Texas rig because I can drag that around. I can drag it through grass, drag it over wood, pitch it. That's mine. Frog chatter, Texas rig. And then kind of my fourth, I was going to say, I like to have some sort of like slow falling target bait. So like a fluke or like a stick bait or a wacky rig, something that I can use as a follow-up. That's kind of my fourth, but what do you guys got?
Go ahead, Gramps.
Top water, I would say a buzz bait. I think eventually, I mean, I can see a frog being the most versatile of anywhere, especially where I fish. And that's why I need to make it a part of my game. Being able to come through, like when the grass has grown up in a lot of places where it's not quite to the top of the water, but even when it is around pads a lot, Now I say obviously my confidence is all in on a buzz bait right now, but for versatility, I can see once I get like the frog thing down, I can see it becoming something that I throw way more often. When you know how it is, you got to build that confidence in it.
Yep.
Obviously, for me, middle column, anything from the top going to the bottom is going to be a jackhammer. There's several, and sometimes you mix color up depending on water clarity or the forage in the places you fish. There are times when I'm throwing, like a spot remover white like chatterbait or jackhammer with a Yamamoto Seiko. I like the 6 Sense Flush. I like the Rage Tail. A mix of that. One of my favorites this year for me, again, it's been the Big Bite Bait Swim On. And then so those are most of the this various trailers I'll use. And again, I will, if the water's super muddy, I will throw on like a black and blue with a black and blue or a green pumpkin and blue Seiko. That contrast, they seem to pick it up when the water's real chocolate milky. But that's just, and then for my bottom, for me, the most, confidence I have is like a small 1/4 ounce or maybe something small jig. And this year, I mean, those baby D-bombs that Monster Bass put out, man, I have been tearing them up. If I'm throwing black and blue, I've got DEBO'S on there. And if I'm throwing like a green pumpkin, that Shark Deuce Burley's candy, I literally bought 8 bags of those because I have been catching.
Awesome.
I've been catching big fish on them. Oh, and DEBO, I haven't even got a video out on this because I don't think I caught enough fish that day. I finally caught 2 fish on jigs that I poured with Do It molds.
Hey! Oh, yeah, you posted a picture. I
was,
saw that. It was the first one on your jig. You posted that one on Instagram. Yep.
Oh, I did post that on Instagram, yeah, but I haven't done anything with haven't done anything. They're already firing fireworks off. Oh, my town is doing like their 4th of July stuff tonight. I don't know if your guys' small towns do this, but the small towns here in Southern Indiana, they kind of stagger their festivals out.
Yeah.
And then they each have their fireworks, but that way folks will travel from town to town to see all the various.
Yep.
So that's one thing I love about living small town life, because you could just every weekend somebody's doing something for like a month.
Man, well, I thought you were going to say, first of all, Gramps, it was more of the around here in Iowa anyway. Was it 3-4 years back, Debo? They are like, well, y'all can have fireworks as long as it's a week before 4th of July and a week after 4th of July. And so it is like, I would have to assume like a war-torn country where it's all night long until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, people setting off those big 500 round cakes, and it's just ta 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 ta. Oh yeah, man, that stuff gets ridiculous. But I guess to continue with the topic here, I would say jigs across the board, but I haven't found a topwater jig yet. So obviously the low is going to be a jig. I'm probably going to go with a swim jig because I feel confident in that. I feel confident in swimming the jig. Debo, you talked about it earlier. There's a lot of different things that you can do with a jig. Not that you can't with other lures, but with a swim jig, you can, kind of do a lot more with it. And as long as you, check your guide wires. And then I'm probably going to go with a frog. But can I put an asterisk next to the frog that says
you can do whatever you want, Randy? You're the real hero of this channel.
Either a hollow body frog or Gramps. I don't know if you've tried the flappy tail type of frogs or not.
I think he's talking to his old lady.
Oh,
Gramps, we just said wave and look up above your monitor if you're going to donate a zillion to the members giveaway. So that's cool, man.
Sorry, Gran walked in was saying they were this close to being asleep, and then the fireworks went off, so I had to hit the mute button real quick.
Followed by choice words.
Gramps, have you tried like the Rage type of frogs, or what are they? What are the other frogs? The ribbits type of frogs?
So I'm saying I've caught fish on we call them toads. Sure, I've caught fish that way before. I've caught fish like the Z-Man goat, the big one. dragging those through a lot of the stuff. But for me, my challenge is like for you guys is one of these.
The top water, yeah. I know that's
gonna come here and say
personally.
hi?
I started out with the.
You gonna come here and say hi?
Kiddos are awake.
So she was almost
We're getting
asleep,
kiddo
and then the
bombed.
fireworks went off, and now she's gonna go back to Grand.
Oh no!
Say bye.
Bye.
You pop another kiss.
That's awesome.
Well, Beth, I've got Beth up there. Beth, we've had you for a minute. Beth, become a new member. Beth, thank you very much for that. I think we've got another member here I want to grab real quick before we do the giveaway. If you haven't already entered #plastic, I know it sounds silly, but that was the first thing that came to mind for the giveaway tonight. Some DEBO plastics, some DEBO jigs, and some tackle. Yeah, Rob Davidson, I did see, and I think we got another one. We're going to keep going here. So I'm going to give to the count of 10 here in my head, #plastic. If you want to be entered for the giveaway, or plastic. Do you have to put the hashtag, Gramps, or does it automatically do the?
I think I've always just put the word. Well, maybe.
I hope I didn't mess it up.
Now you got me confused. I thought we've always hashtagged it, but now I'm not sure. Because there's 143 entries. We got 258 watching.
Well, if you put hashtag and it didn't up the numbers, try putting just plastic. Sorry. Next time I will put a hashtag in front of it just to be sure. I didn't even think of that until I started looking like, does it have to match exactly? Which I think it does. And I wonder if somebody said plastic before.
I'll try to put it in there again. Oh, God.
Okay.
I'm not typing that.
So, Rob, thank you for becoming a member. Let's see.
Try to give it a shot now.
And I think there was one more.
Okay, thanks, guys. We got the plastics entries. We appreciate
I think people are just making sure they got in. That's my bad. I apologize.
Yeah.
I will put hashtag next time so we know. Diesel's asked.
Hashtag is. Go ahead.
Best walking frog in your opinion? Man, there's a lot of them out there. Randy was showing the 6 Sense Vega. That one walks super easy, but I feel like I haven't had the best hookup ratio on it. You can see it's kind of a longer frog. Hold it back just a little bit, Randall.
There
you go. It's like a longer profile.
You want the hooks where the body, even though they are turned up a little bit, I feel like how tall the body is versus the hooks themselves, you almost want to turn it up a little bit more. I've never fished one of these, but it feels like a good frog. I like your keel. I'm more of like a flat keel on the bottom here, where I feel like I get a better, whereas that vice versa. I feel like I get less walk with a flat versus a hard V, right?
Yeah, like the River to Sea Bullywa 2 walks really well. I think it's one of the best all-around frogs out there. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Let's see. Let's draw. We're at 150. That's a good number. Let's grab a winner here. I am sharing just to be sure. Make sure it doesn't go up. Okay, there we go. We're drawing.
I had another frog to show, but I don't know what I did with it. It went somewhere else.
Daniel T. Mr. Daniel T. rocking out there. Daniel, you have to be present. I did forget to say that. Oh, actually, I did say it this time, I think, right?
I think it's a caveat in everyone that should be known. Daniel, if you're here, if you could just let us know in the chat, we'll be keeping an eye out for you.
Okay, lots of hashtag plastics. I think we had one more member here. I don't want to miss any members. If you became a member tonight and I did not read your name off, let me know. I thought I saw one more come through.
Daniel T is here.
Daniel T is here.
He made a note.
Okay, I don't see any other members. I could have swore there was one more in there. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. Frank
Davidson was the last, right?
Is it Frank Doucette? Is that how you pronounce it? Hopefully. Dang, is that a big old pike there?
Douche.
Bobby, are you Bobby Boucher's cousin? Dang, that looks like a big old pike. I can't tell. Or muskellunge. It's really small on my screen. Frank, thank you for becoming a member. Let me go through, make sure I didn't miss anybody else. I'm going to zip through. we're going to get to some quick this or that questions, some viewer nonsensical fishing things getting thrown at us here. Okay, I don't
Ooh,
think I missed anybody.
I got a this or that for you guys if you're ready.
Okay, Daniel T said, thanks, he is here. Daniel, if you can please send an email to the email up on the screen right now, debosfishing@gmail.com, with a picture, with a screenshot of your YouTube name, like just showing where you comment, like where it shows your name so I know it's you, and then just your address and stuff, and I will get you out a box of Debo Customs and other baits. Will get you hooked up, brother.
So here's a funny Daniel T story from about 2 hours ago. Right before the live, he messages me on Instagram, and he's like, "Hey," I guess he went to my page and he was looking at, like, where you join the members and whatnot. And for some reason, there's a button there that says upgrade, which shouldn't be on mine because I only have one tier. It's 99 cents for the Fish and Fan members, right? But he clicked it, and it took him to Hellabass's page. And he actually made a video. He actually made a little video about it. I may post it later. And he put Smooth Criminal to the background music of it. I was like, however that happens, that somebody goes to my page, hits an upgrade button, and it takes them to Hellabass's page. I was like, that's a cool trick.
Did you let Rich be a moderator? Oh yeah, sure, I'll moderate for you, Gramps.
Just send all your members over.
Good.
I need to figure that out.
That was great.
Huh? What?
Okay, what, Randy?
This or that. I got one for you guys.
Okay, yeah,
You
go
ready?
ahead. What do you got?
Okay, so the this or that. You have, we'll just say 20 minutes to fish a trophy fishery with your most confident lure, or you have, like, say, a full day to fish with your, we'll even give you the bottom 2 confidence lures on that same trophy lake. So like 20 minutes on the best option that you have and the best conditions for that option on the best lake you can think of versus a full day, best conditions, blah, 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 whole 9 with the bottom 2 lures that you have. Make sense?
So horrible conditions at a trophy lake with the best 2 lures that I've got.
We're going best conditions for both scenarios.
Oh,
so
okay.
the time is the difference. So your best confidence lure with 20 minutes to fish, monster bass everywhere, versus a full day, say 8 hours, with the bottom 2 confidence lures that you have. So you, Debo, would be 20 minutes with a frog, or say a full day with drop shot.
All day, yeah.
Okay.
I like the trophy thing, but 20 minutes, dude, I'm trying to get videos made here. I got kids to feed. I can't make a video.
Well, my thing is, I would be throwing a frog and a Ned rig in the best place for 8 hours. I would have to think, since everybody else catches fish on those dang things.
Oh, they're both the best place? They're both trophy fishery?
they are both trophy fishery.
I didn't hear that. I thought it was best place for 20 minutes or regular, like any place for 8 hours.
Yeah. So
damn. I'm going 8 hours with crap lures.
I'm having a frog rod and Ned rig in my hand all day long.
So
8 hours,
so
I'm gonna catch something.
Would it change at all if we dropped it down to half a day, 4 hours with your worst 2?
Nope.
I would still take the time. I would take the time on a trophy lake any day.
The only exception I would make to that is if I'm in a 21-foot Phoenix, like I got a fish up in Minnesota, and dude has live scope going, is like, I can see the fish right there. You've got 20 minutes. And
so I'm saying perfect conditions across the board, whatever you want. I'm not saying Debo's got to fish a trophy bass lake from the bank. I'm saying you have the best gear that you could want with your most confidence lure from the best boat with the best electronics for 20 minutes. And then we'll even drop it down to 4 hours with your bottom 2, best boat, best equipment, but bottom 2 lures. Again, same conditions.
I think I'd still have to go 4 hours. Drop shot.
I would have to take the time.
What would you do, Randall? What are you picking?
I'm saying S-Waver is probably your other one.
Like a big glide bait and a stupid drop shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably the 4 hours also, but I'm hoping that I don't get overly frustrated and just start snapping stuff because like I'm thinking I'm throwing huge, huge, huge lures because I hate those. I hate big lures overall. So I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna fish like a giant, 10-inch worm because I hate those and I've never had any luck on them because that's not fair. I'll catch a monster.
Yep.
It's going to be like a big glide bait S-waver type of jointed, and then who knows, some sort of weird drop shot, stupid stuff probably also.
Spencer said he did become a member, but no logo. Spencer, it would show the logo and it would kick it through if you did. So I don't think you went through the whole transaction thing. I would double check and look, but it should take you through all that and say that pop up you're a member here. So I don't think you completed the deal. Let's see, what else do we have? This or that, hot dog or cheeseburger. We're going down the whole fish in the southeast, taking us off subject. That's all right. We've actually stayed pretty good tonight. We haven't got too off subject. Hot dog or cheeseburger? If we're talking
What's
like
the scenario?
yeah, if we're talking just like grilling in my backyard, hamburger, or cheeseburger, I guess. But like going to the Iowa games, man, there's something about those little steam buns, hot dogs that they sell in the little foil wrapper that are just stupid good. How about you guys?
It's all scenario or all, I guess, environment for me. Like if I'm just doing, the walk around, hanging out at like a gathering, I'm probably going to go hot
Stubby
dog,
wants in.
something quick that you can just, take care of and throw it to the side. If I want to sit down and like really enjoy something, I'm going hamburger.
Hi, Mr. Stubber's dog.
I mean, I always tend to grab one of each if we're picnicking anyway. But like Debo said, if you're at a ballpark, now
okay.
And again, it's still situational because I have at work we have a hot dog stand and they're all beef hot dogs. They do Chicago style. I mean, whatever you kind of want. But yeah, I'm a down for either kind of guy,
Yep.
Or down for both over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, man, you can definitely run across. So I will say this: you can really run across a bad hamburger that's poorly cooked, etc. You have to really, really, really mess up a hot dog to make it bad.
Here's an interesting one. Mr. Bassel's chap asked, must or bust, Agent E. So originally I thought it was going to be for sure, hands down, bust, because I personally did not like the dark sleeper. However, the Agent E, even just having that little bit of fluorocarbon as the weedless like hook guard, I feel like it's 1,000 times more weedless than the dark sleeper. Like that plastic just moves so easy. But I've only fished them from the bank. So far I haven't lost the Agent E. So that's one thing, because I lost like 3 dark sleepers in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But I don't know. I haven't caught fish on it yet. So, Gramps, what did you grab one there? Have you caught fish on it? And if Jermaine's in here, I think Jermaine likes the Agent E. He's been catching them on it. Oh, the gill. Oh, gosh. Everybody's talking about the gill.
This thing is not getting as good as reports as what I've thought it
Frog
might.
fur. Dude, it's frog fur. I think the dark sleeper's frog fur too.
Yep.
If they wouldn't market it as like, oh, very weedless, it's hidden by the plastic, and I don't know. I think it's more of a boat thing. So I know I was kind of harsh on it. Like if I was fishing it on the edges of grass in a boat, I think it'd be a different story. But
so the guys up north are getting the pike are killing it.
Closer, Gramps.
Oh, yep. So for you guys who haven't seen the Mega Bass,
so what I was talking about, the dorsal fin up there is plastic, and the hook is hidden, like in that. If you
so
pull it open.
So when it bites, you can.
Yeah.
But the people I've been paying attention to that are throwing these, the fish are biting the tails off of them. Some people says the eye comes out with the first cast. I know Punch Fishing has been throwing this a little bit up in. He's on a little fishing trip this weekend, camping and whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of it's kind of a not worth the. And then somebody posted up pictures of the storm version of these that you can get at Walmart
Oh, yeah.
that still catch fish and are much more durable.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's everybody's always knocking on each other for stuff like that. What's Tubby Dog? Did you see a rabbit? This dog absolutely despises rabbits in his yard. He keeps whining.
But I do have a pit that's clear water, a strip pit, where this might come into play. So yeah, if I can.
I want to work it more. I definitely want to work the Agent E more. The Agent E is weird because the 3/8 is like little, and the half ounce like is I feel what I would throw most of the time. It's an interesting bait, but we shall see. Mike, good one. This or that, tube or beaver bait? Oh, I feel like we're gonna have split results here. For me, for sure, a beaver. Flipping around a beaver in the wood. That's such a fun way to catch fish. Just flipping around a Texas rig. Little 1/4 ounce weight or 3/8 ounce weight.
Two different styles of.
But you got to pick one.
Styles of fishing.
You have both those rods rigged up, and you can only take one. That's all you've got room for in your kayak. Which is it going to be?
Oh, I guess we know I'm going with the tube.
The Stewie tube.
You know it. I mean,
I'm going beaver. It's not that I have anything against the tube. It's just been years and years and years since I've thrown one.
Yeah. And for me, recently, it's actually probably taken the place more of a Texas rig. Realistically, I've always got a jig pipe on, and I've always got a beaver bait on the back of it. So for me, that's how I throw the creature baits is on the back of a jig. If I'm throwing a Texas rig, it's going to be a 10-inch power worm or some kind of cutter worm, something longer. If it's going to be short and stubby, it's going to be the missile. I mean, I'm glad you guys kind of hooked me up with those last fall, because ever since I started messing with those on the back of jigs, it's replaced the Bandito bug and pretty much everything else.
Really?
I mean, it's just I've always stuck to kind of the same things, but man, when I started playing with those DEBO'S, it was like, game over.
Yeah, I haven't put as much time in with the mini ones. I fished the big ones, like one of those, because I think those are 4-inch. I want to say I've fished those a ton and love just the regular DEBO'S.
Yep.
But the mini ones are cool too. Actually, my buddy Matt was out the other day and said that was one of the only things they would eat, was that he had that with like a little 1/4 ounce weight, just flipping standing brush. And
hey, Gramps, when you're throwing like any type of jig or anything like that, it's got a trailer on it. In that sense, how big of one are you throwing? Is it like 3/8? Is it how big? Like
the jig?
Yeah, the jig itself. Sorry.
And really almost as small as I can get away with. I mean, a little bit bigger than a Bitsy bug. But I like a 1/4 ounce, or I think it's 3/8 is the one I generally throw the most.
I'm not trying to steer you away from anything else, but you need to check out the Strike King Rage chunk trailers. Those are my 100% go-to. If I had one lure to throw for the rest of my life, it's going to be a jig with that as a trailer on there.
Yeah, I think I've got about 6 bags of those, along with some Rage bugs in my soft plastics box that a lot of people swear by them too. And I used to see, the funny thing is I've thrown Strike King stuff for me and my youngest met Steve-O when my youngest was probably
Big
8
Steve-O
or 9.
Parks.
Yeah. We met him before he became part of Strike King. It was Rage Tail. So we met him at a boat show when my youngest was probably 8 or 9, and he's going to be 23 here on the 4th of July. So we've thrown Rage and Strike King, anything with a Rage tail on it. My son somewhere has one of the original Rage tail hats that Steve-O gave him at the boat show. So we've been throwing those for a long time. But over the last couple of years, especially as I came to YouTube, I said, I can't just go on and talk about Strike King stuff all the time, because my tournament rule back in my
that's
day,
part of the fun too, is just trying so much new.
Was I would always, whatever I fished, I had to be able to find at Walmart, because everywhere I fished a tournament at, if I was out of something or needed something, I can always
go to
run to
Walmart.
Walmart and get it. But now, since
Yeah.
we've got, TW and ALFC, all these places to order online from, you can get anything. So that's why I, over the last couple of years, have been messing with Guggenbait, 6 Sense, Missile Baits,
Right.
Reaction Innovations, all the different kind of stuff that just wasn't either Zoom or Strike King or, something that you can find at the aisle at Walmart.
Right. So my big thing is, I've talked about this before, is I like in-hand type of purchases. I like to go somewhere and if I'm going to buy something, I want to be able to, especially if it's like a rod or a reel or something, I want to be able to feel it in my hands before I go and buy it. So out here on location, I've come across a local tackle shop, like a mom and pop's place, where they've got these Vegas, they've got these swamp donkeys, they've got all these other lures that DEBO'S always talked about that I've never bought because he's ordered them on Tackle Warehouse, and I'm not going to spend.
Because I don't like kids in my yard and I don't shop online. I'm Randy.
I don't got DEBO money running through me, so I'm just I want to be able to
you
look
just hate
at
shopping
it, see
online.
it, feel it. Also,
I'm pretty sure you're sponsored by DEBO.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
There's
I
the
was
difference.
also
It's
gonna
kind of hard to see on a dark background, but regular D-bomb, mini baby D-bomb. If y'all want a sneaky color, people don't talk about this one a lot. It's the GP3. It's green pumpkin. It's got like purple highlights running all through it.
Yep.
Oh, it's such a good color.
I never realized those tails kicked as well as they did until I started.
Yeah, they flap a lot.
Yeah. That's why I like the Rage, is because I as Debo said earlier, I like finessey, and I'll cut down my skirt a bunch, and that thing is already a short little compact. I haven't had a bunch of the babies to mess around with, but I could see those being, a go-to, outside of the Rage.
Yeah, on those smaller jigs like that, man, they're amazing.
Yeah, you can't. I was gonna see if I get it to
nobody tell fish in the southeast I said anything about the Rage
right
bugs.
there.
You can't know that I have any.
Oh, why? Come on, focus. You can just barely see it. Yeah, these are interesting because I thought the same thing too, like a long time ago when I started using these, but they've got just like little, like very thin ridges, and it's just enough to make them like, it's weird. Yeah. D-bombs. Good stuff. Okay, here's a good one. Jameson Judy. This or that, your choice of any reel on a budget rod or your choice of any rod on a budget reel. And see, I always have to ask, what's the technique? And we're not going to get that liberty here, but there are certain things that I've talked about before. Frogging, you don't need an expensive rod. Other things, bottom con like Texas rigs, Ned rig setup. I'm going to definitely spend more money on the rod, but oh man, question if I could only go one. Depends on how cheap we're talking for the budget reel. But if I'm saying like, oh gosh, what do you guys got? Do you know your answer?
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm gonna have to say I'm more of a reel type of person. My jig rod right now is the Lose. What is that Lose jig rod, Debo? I'm using the like digital gray camo one.
Is it Hank Parker one?
No, it's not the Hank Parker one. It's the other one.
Oh, the Jordan Lee one.
Yes, and that thing's sub $90. I think it's like $86 or something like that.
Yep.
And that thing's been a banger for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed that. Reel or that rod with a Corrado on there. So I'm going reel over rod.
Daniel T on top of it. Daniel T's already got me the stuff. Daniel, I got your email. Own it. Own it.
Not wasting any time.
Dude, I would say, I honestly think I would go more expensive rod just because I can use that for more things. Like if I get in the position where I need it to be sensitive, awesome. But if I'm saying I've got like $70 to spend on a reel, I mean, depending on what it is, for a lot of stuff, you don't need a crazy expensive reel. But I think that's where I go. Expensive rod for the sensitivity. Thing is, once you start getting like to some of those $50 reels and like some of those are an absolute headache to get dialed in and keep working. And so as long as I've got like $50 to $70 to spend on a reel, I'll go expensive rod. All right, what
Yeah,
do we have?
because I would go more. I would go more. If you're talking like sub 100, I'm almost sticking with spinning reels at that point.
Oh, for sure,
Because
without a
Okay.
I
doubt.
can,
Yeah.
I can get a medium heavy spinning rod, and I can do anything. If somebody asked me once if I can only have one rod and reel for the rest of my life, what would it be to fish the most techniques? And it would be a medium heavy spinning rod, because I can skip it, I can pitch it, I can cast it a mile. I can do anything with that, where you can't always do that with like a more budget a budget baitcaster. A lot of the time you want to,
Right.
Yeah.
Now that being said, we've all had the the $50-$60 bait, Black Max combos from Walmart, the loose Xfinity, and they all still catch fish. I mean, but if it had to last me for a long time,
See, I think the big thing, or the biggest thing that I know Debo and I differ with, is I am a line watcher more than I am a feel guy. Just because I know how Debo holds his rods, he's finger on the line as he's holding his rod, or his rod and reel combo, and I watch my line a lot more. So that's why I kind of additional talking point to my answer, I guess.
Here's another fun spin on it. We'll do a couple more questions and we'll get out of here. We're closing out on 2 hours, which is crazy. Time flies on these lives. Special shout out to Gramps too for joining. If y'all don't know Gramps, he's been on my channel before. But if not, give Gramps a follow. Fishing with Gramps on the YouTubes. Are you on the Instagrams? Everything. It's all Fishing with Gramps, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Fishing. Is it fishing?
Fish in.
Gotta sound Hoosier. You were talking earlier about our Hawkeyes getting drafted.
Gramps.
I was so happy to see that.
Dude, that was awesome.
It's going to be really awesome because our best player stayed for his 4th year. It's going to be a fun year at Indiana this year.
He's a stud anyway.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Do they still have, what's the other kid's name? Trace? Is that the other kid?
That's the one who stayed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What's the other?
Yeah, because they were expecting him to go and get drafted a couple years ago. So,
because there's
the fact that he stayed for the new coach for another year, I can't wait. I can't wait.
That's Trace Jackson Davis. Who's the other kid?
Debo, I'm listening. I'll be right back.
The 2 pigs. Okay. Because they play the 2
cheapest
bigs.
Store combo with the best lures, of the best store combo with the cheapest lures. Man, what a great question.
Dude, that's a fun one. Cheapest store combo with best lures, or best store combo with cheapest. You know what? I think there's a lot of cheap lures that get overlooked. Missile Baits D-Bomb, or Missile Baits D-Bomb. We were just talking about that. Pit Boss, often found for like $1.99 in some of the clearance bins because they were getting rid of them, those old Havocs. I don't know if clearance bins count, but like Cotton Cordell Super Spot, change the hooks on it, and those are freaking awesome, lipless. I almost think I would go with budget lures. I think I'd rock that with a $1 spinnerbait from Walmart. Dude, awesome spinnerbait. The skirt sucks and it'll fall off halfway through the day, but as long as you've got
and you've got skirts. The Arky jigs that are like $1 or 50 cents, you'd still catch. I think you actually changed my mind, because I'm sitting here thinking I can throw a chatterbait on any combo and catch fish. But
yeah, that's tough. I guess it would depend on the section, what they've got for choices here.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Daniel, speaking of Daniel, this or that, shaky head or pegged Texas rig? See, that's a tough one because it really depends what you're fishing. But I mean, honestly, even for like beginners, I think a Texas rig by far is one of the best like do-it-all lures you can have. You can swim it, you can flip it in wood, flip it in grass. Shaky head can be kind of iffy in some of those.
Yeah.
I'm going Texas rig.
I'll just jump in real quick and say budget for sure, or the clearance budget, whatever that question was. 100%. You can add stuff to those, change out hooks, whatever. And then here with this, I'm going peg Texas rig, just because I can peg it at different. So this isn't saying pegged right up against the hook. This is saying just pegged in general.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going pegged also.
Pegged. All right, let's do one more.
I mean, I only use shaky head in certain certain situations, like early when the water's cold, even though I'm throwing a Nico rig, probably more of those, these days, I'm finding it a little cream lures, yum, and big bites. Yep.
Yeah, all the the discount or the like the cheaper, more budget. Yeah, it's funny because cream lures used to be like the big deal. Like they were, obviously like one of the innovators and they're still around. That's pretty crazy. Yum,
Are
cheap
they the
stuff.
ones
Yep.
that had the double hooks
Yeah, like the
in it, like the
pre-rigged
Texas
worms.
rig? The pre-rigged, yeah.
Yep.
Man,
Oh, they got
I
those
used to,
frogs with the flappy legs, like the live target ones.
I don't know if they had those. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now.
Oh, okay.
Ugh. Shrimps.
What? Jonathan said I checked the $1 spinners one time. The number on them was actually a Strike King. That's crazy.
The blade or
I don't know, like the number to call them, or I don't know. That's interesting. I wouldn't doubt it. All right,
yeah,
we're
because it's
picking
like one of
more.
those things where somebody figured out that the Seaguar line was actually what the Bass Pro line was. So
Just make it and brand it for them.
Yeah.
All right, one more. We need one more question, y'all. Hit us with one more good one, and we're getting out of here. One more.
Trout bugs, hard
bugs.
little fishies. They got a lure called Little Fishies. Cream Lures does. Little, LIT''L, fishies.
Little fishies.
I saw one. It was a ways back, but it was pizza related. We don't need to answer that one again. I think we've done it a few times. Favorite topping.
Best pizza toppings. Yep. Fish in the Southeast. Oh, here we go. Okay, here's another interesting one. We're in on pike and tackles. Only heavy power rods or medium power rods for the rest of your life.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, man.
For most of the way I fish, I'm definitely going to go heavy rod because not all heavy rods are the same. There's some heavy rods that fish kind of like a medium heavy. So I can throw 1/2 ounce chatterbait, which is actually what I've been throwing mostly all this year. 1/2 ounce chatterbait, frog, 3/8 ounce Texas rig, pegged or unpegged. It doesn't matter. Just 3/8 ounce like tungsten. Yep.
Should we go back to the pizza question? Favorite topping and skip this one. I'm actually
going to say the medium rod because I will throw lighter chatterbaits. I will throw really light jigs. I will power drop shot.
Power drop? I don't even know what that means, Gramps.
Just think of drop shotting instead of using a spinning rod. You're using a baitcaster.
Oh, okay. So
now here's the funny thing too, where I've seen more people talk about it. I know Monster Bass did a piece on it a couple months back, but I actually thought that I was the first kind of clever one to come up with that a few years ago, because I found myself in a situation where I was fishing. I was actually bank fishing. It's I don't do that a ton with my knees and back much anymore, but I found myself in one of those places where they had sprayed the grass and you had kind of like all that gunk in the bottom. And so what I did was I tied a small, the smallest hook that I had on, and I took a bullet weight and put it below the line. And then I took a bobber stop and put it below that and fashioned out a drop shot that way. And I tell a lot of people that, that's one way you can always tie a drop shot because, oh, hey, if you get snagged in rocks and it pulls off, you're out 2 pennies because you use the little cheap, Walmart lead weights, so that's one way you can.
Have you heard of people I think they said they saw it on an Iconelli thing. I just don't understand how this would make sense. So instead of tying your Palomar knot on the hook in the middle, they're using two bobber stops on the hook. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me because as soon as the fish grabs it and you set the hook, it's just going to slide, isn't it? Like
the hook moves also.
Yeah, but once you get the fish to bite it, who cares?
But that's what I don't understand. How are you going to get the hook set? Because isn't that hook how are you going to get power to actually set the hook into it? Isn't it just going to slip through those?
It's going to be from your bottom stop to your weight at the bottom. So whatever length that is,
No, what I'm
know?
saying is, so instead, when you tie your drop shot, so you take your line,
Well, yeah,
run it through, you tie your Palomar. They're saying instead of doing that knot,
right.
you've got your hook here, and you've got a bobber stop above it and below it, so your hook is hanging out like,
So
oh hell, I
when you
can't
go
do
to
it. But
set your hook and you have your two bobber stops in your hook right here, you set the hook and you pull it, the hook's going to go down, right? So you're pulling it up, so the hook's going down and it's meeting your weight at the bottom. So you have whatever distance that is between your bottom bobber stop where your hook is and the weight
I don't
below.
know.
So I
To
get
me, that
it.
seems
It's
like a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
definitely
don't
time to
not
lose
easy,
a
know.
but
fish and not get penetration. But I
I
don't know.
mean,
I haven't tried
maybe
it.
maybe
So.
if you had two bobber stops above and below, that might be enough tension to actually get a hook set. But it would kind of be surprising.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so
I'm not
Plum
saying it's a
saying two
good
stops on
idea.
the bottom.
Yeah, Fish in the
I'm
Southeast
just
says
saying
Mike knows
don't.
his stuff. Yeah, I'm not in any way trying to say I am smarter than Iconelli. That
I'm
is
just saying
for
don't
sure
use
not.
the
But
drop shot. Use something else. In
Drop
my
shot
opinion.
catches fish, man.
I'm kidding, Gramps. I know
I know.
you're a
The funny
proponent.
thing
It's
is, but we're all this way because it's what we've got confidence in.
yeah,
You guys would die with a frog rod in hand. And, I'm the same way with a chatterbait, or before that, it was a spinnerbait. You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
But
I've
my
caught
number two has always been a jig. So it's either been spinnerbait, chatterbait, and then a jig. If I only had two,
yeah, Gramps.
that's the way I'm going out.
Regardless of the patch on your hat, you're still good in my book, buddy.
Hey, appreciate it.
yeah, we bring it. We only bring Grant on because we feel sorry for him. There's nobody going to take a guy with a hat like that. We'll let
You can
you
feel
on here.
sorry. You can feel sorry for me during football season, but
All right. Well, listen. Hey, Eric D with the $9.99 donation, the 10 bomb. We're definitely going to have to get a cool reel. I think I'm probably going to look into looking to get a Scorpion DC. You members will have to let me know. Members still watch and let me know if you think the Scorpion DC would be fun to use for that members live. But listen, again, special shout out to Gramps. Gramps, thanks for jumping on short notice.
hey,
Of
thanks for
course,
having me on.
absolutely. Dizzle, thanks for
I got
joining.
I got a couple new reels I got to start playing with that I haven't used before.
Ooh, what'd you get? Tell us now that you've teased me. Now you got me intrigued. Yeah, and Randy will throw in some do it for that members. Or oh no, Mended is what I was going to say.
Now, one of them you might have seen in the short that came that Graham. This is the reel that I'm going to be using to test that bait we're testing for Do It.
Is that the new Bantam?
That's the new Bantam.
Nice.
So I told him I wanted something to. I guess they've already kind of spilled the beans and showing what it is. At least the one I got. It's a Magnum Ned rig. And so I said I wanted something. I told Grandma, I said, I need something because I wasn't trying to give it away. I need something that's going to be like good for throwing, say, like a football head or something similar in somewhat deep water. So he sent me a Bantam to use for that. And then I said, you know what? I want to build eventually my ultimate chatterbait jackhammer combo. So I've never gone until this Bantam. I've never gone higher than a Corrado to test reels out with because they've always done what I wanted. But I said, you know what? I want to test something in the Shimano line that's like the super, so I had them send me the Metanium.
The Metanium. But you've got the Zillion though. That's a more expensive one.
Well, that to me, it's going to be hard to beat.
Ooh,
because
I'm interested to see what you think of the Metanium. Because Jim is.
So I wanted to take the Metanium
fan.
and kind of put it up because I know these are more expensive than the Zillion, but that's the great thing about being partnered with American Legacy. They send me stuff to test out for a few months.
That's awesome.
And then I send
it's
it
smoother.
back.
I think it's smoother than the Zillion.
You think it's smoother than the Zillion?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Like when you reel,
but I mean, it should be for that price point, right? For another $100.
Right. But as far as castability and everything, I'll still take the Zillion. I mean,
yeah. And so that's kind of what, because I've thrown that Zillion into the wind. I've thrown it. Chris, you were asking about their Victory Rip and Chatter. Yeah, I need to sit down and do that video because I've already made my decisions on those rods that I said, the sub $200 rods for the season that I said I was going to fish a bunch of different tournaments with and come back and give you guys opinions. And so I'm not going to give anything away tonight, but I do need to sit down and make that video because I've already leaned a couple of different directions, and I've also sold some of the various rods that I got to start with too. So we will get into that too, but I actually do have a new chatterbait rod.
Randall Pink Floyd, I don't know if you were on earlier. I did tell him that I got the box. What the hell was that? Something just squeaked there.
But the next chatterbait rod I'm going to be testing out is the IMX Pro from G Loomis. That's kind of in the same price range of a lot of the different ones that I've played with. I might also get the Legend Rip and Chatter because the funny thing is, well, I'm not going to give anything away. You'll just have to wait for the videos. But I still, I told myself, I said, I want to build my two favorite combos. One combo for throwing the lightweight jigs I like to throw. I need to make some of the ball heads like Randy's talking about. And then I want to have my ultimate jackhammer combo as well. But like I said, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to beat that zillion. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. 570 Basson said, I tell you what, outside of my SLX reels, I just picked up the Corrado MGL. It's light, cast great, and I love it. Dude, I fished that all day when I was out on the boat with Matt. That's the one I locked in my hand. It was the chatterbait, the jackhammer 1/2 ounce. That reel is surprisingly smooth. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but like, I guess I don't even know how to say it now that I've said that. Surprisingly, I feel like that's like, oh,
shockingly, pleasantly surprising.
No, because I know it's like I've got
enjoyable.
Corrados, and it's a little bit more expensive version because it's the MGL. I guess I didn't really have a ton of like hopes for it. I was just thinking, oh, it's going to be like another Corrado, but I guess
Are you talking about the 150?
Yeah, the Corrado MGL, dude. I mean, I fished it all day, and I was a big fan by the end of the day. I'm like, dude, this thing.
And I'm gonna say this, knowing all of this, I think right now, if I was to be like, I wanted like one sponsor to give me one line of rods and reels, I think I could get away with fishing a lot of tournaments for a lot of years with the Shimano Corrado rods with a bunch of those Shimano M150 MGLs. Those things are just
even the SLX MGL, man. Even that is an awesome little reel.
Yeah,
I need to get more gear reviews out.
I gotta do something with as well. But
Gramps,
yeah, I mean, when I did that roundup for the SLX reels, I mean, there were so many of them that I really liked. And I ended up selling a couple of them after Christmas, and then I turned around and went back and bought a couple more just because I really wanted them.
Gramps,
I'm so far. I've got a video list of like 20 videos. It's just I've been working with rigging out this new kayak. It's a brand new Jackson kayak. I've still got a lot of things to give opinions on with that. And then I've been trying to do a little boat fishing too, but it's this has got the beard going. I mean, you can't knock all that.
Okay, here's a funny story. Since we know it's only the OGs that are going to stay on after 2 hours anyway.
DEBO'S got a fake beard. Yeah,
I haven't shaved for like 2 days, and look at that. Isn't that disgusting? Like
2 days, probably. Yeah. Okay.
So my daughter said, we were talking about dogs because we were looking at possibly adopting another dog. My parents ended up getting a dog. So then my daughter's like, can we get this? It's another rescue pit bull. I'm a huge fan of pit bulls. I've worked with them for years. Used to work at Humane Society for 2 years. So like they always have a special spot in my heart because they're always like the first to get put down. So we're looking at one that's brindle. And if you don't know, like with the brindle color, it's like kind of brownish, grayish, black, all this stuff. Oh, hey, there's Spencer Wilson. Spencer,
there we go.
Your membership worked, brother. Now you got it. So we were looking at the dogs, and there's one, I think its name was Moo, and it was this little brindle. And my daughter's like, oh, Daddy, can we get it? It's so pretty. She's like, I've never seen that color. I'm like, yeah, honey, that's called brindle. She's like, yeah, it's got all kinds of different colors. I'm like, that's right. It's got like the brown, the gray. She's like, that's cool. It looks like Rand Dizzle's beard. His beard is brindle. I was like,
that's great.
Yeah, kind of. He's got a brindle beard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Randall. We love you, Randall.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, hey, we're going to end on that funny story from the kiddos. Again, go follow Fishing with Gramps if you haven't already. Thanks for joining. Dizzle's the true hero of the show. We appreciate y'all. Love you a ton. Thanks for watching. And until next Saturday's live, we'll be back again. So thanks for watching.